and 90 around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome in to Sports Time on a Monday. Bryant Dacus and Jay Morgan Harder with you for the next 3 hours. No Brett Norsworthy again this week. He's out for the remainder of this week, and then he'll be back next week as we start previewing week 1 of the college football season. But we're here to week 0. Saturday we'll have college football all day long. It'll be really fun to watch. I'm really excited about it. But today, some ticketing news, I guess you could say, coming out for the Memphis Tigers. Did you see anything about this earlier today, Jim Morgan?
What do you think, Bryant?
No, I'm going to say no.
Not, Bryant. I don't know anything about the ticketing news.
I think this is interesting, though.
Okay.
And I saw a lot of national college football reporters tweeting about this and talking about it because it's...
I'll reserve any judgment until I hear the story from you.
Because it's not like really any other ticketing deal or option you see around the country. But today, the University of Memphis put out on social media, I got an email about it, that they're doing a new ticket package where you pay $60 for a season ticket, and if Memphis wins, you get the next ticket for free. So if they beat Bethune-Cookman on the 2nd, you get a free ticket to the game against Navy. If they beat Navy, you get a free ticket to the game against
somebody else did that.
Boise State. If they beat Boise State, you get a ticket to Tulane.
Followers.
If
somebody else
did
Tulane,
you get a ticket to USF.
Whatever week Zach was out and I was hosting mornings, I talked to Greg and Eli about it. Somebody else is doing that. We didn't even.
Okay, so they got on the train for this.
Yeah, it's someone. Boise State, I think it is. I'll look it up.
Oh, so somebody on their schedule even is doing this that they'll see at home.
No, it might not be that prevalent. If you know, 901-360-8255, but I'm
please.
looking it up too. Whoever finds it first, somebody tell me.
I hadn't seen anything like this. I'm sure you're right. I mean, I'm not saying
because it's essentially wagering. I don't think it was 60. Maybe it's something like 150.
Right.
And it was like essentially you're gambling $150 for the whole year. Mm-hmm. If they win it all, you win it all. If they lose, well, you're
60 kind of seems like a good gamble.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
And Memphis in the past 5 or 6 years has been pretty good in Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. So, might not be a bad deal at all. I think you feel pretty good against Bethune-Cookman week 1. You feel pretty good against Navy week 2. And then you got a couple tough opponents against Boise.
Boise State announced
Tulane.
it. Boise State announced it July 17th. The We Win, You Win ticket.
Wow.
The game is Saturday, September 9th, scheduled for 5 p.m.
Who's that game against? Fans
who purchase a limited ticket for $125 and attend the game receive a free ticket to the if they beat UCF, they will automatically receive a complimentary digital ticket to the following game against North Dakota.
Wow.
Those fans who attend the North Dakota game utilizing a digital ticket will automatically receive a complimentary digital ticket to the next home game against San Jose State.
Wow.
Promotion continues with each home victory. So essentially you get the opportunity to attend all 6 home games for $125. Heck of a deal.
I think it's a good deal. I think it's smart.
So Memphis is doing it for $60?
Only $60. Now where are the tickets? Where you sent me at the very top, but I think get in for $60 and potentially could. I would say at least you feel good about getting 3 games with $60, and that's you're getting your value out of 3 games.
No kidding.
Because they're going to beat Bethune-Cookman. Knock on wood. You feel pretty good about that one. You feel pretty good about Navy, new coach, new system I think they're implementing at Navy.
And also all this is predicated on you having to go to the games.
Oh, yeah, you got to go.
You don't get the free ticket if they just win and you didn't go.
Because last week we were just talking about they had announced 11,000 season tickets, seemed kind of low with only a couple weeks left for the season. So, I mean, gets people involved.
Pulling out all the stops.
I like it. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I might buy one.
I just had to push back on you giving them credit for the idea.
I shouldn't have given them credit. That's
I had to push back.
That's on me. I didn't know. I had no idea.
About Boise State?
Yeah, I had no idea Boise State was doing it. I mean, I saw them announce it this morning. Obviously, like a lot of the local beat writers and reporters, I saw Jason Munn's tweet about it. I saw Mark Giannotto wrote a story about it in the Commercial Appeal. The new Commercial Appeal beat writer, I forget his name, for the Tigers wrote about it. So, I mean, I was seeing a lot of local people, and then I started seeing national people talk about it. I go, so maybe this is unique. I've never seen anybody do it before.
Critical acclaim.
But Boise State did it first.
I'm
sure someone.
Maybe the quality of the games that you're getting the ticket for, especially with the first one being UCF, is maybe better quality.
Yeah.
Than the games you're getting with Memphis.
That's
you think?
Probably why it's
San Jose State is also one of those three for them, and that's a pretty good program. And no, San Jose State maybe isn't a good program actually.
No, but I mean UCF. That's now a Power 5 school, so I mean
Wow, P5.
North Dakota is a top FCS program.
How about that?
So,
bing bang boom.
Bing bang boom. I
don't know.
That's John Harden saying. Mm-hmm. But I like it. I think it's a good idea. I don't care who did it first, who came out with it. I like the idea. I think, like you said, you have to go to the game to be able to get the ticket to the next game, so it gets people involved. Also, if you're going to spend money on tickets regardless, you probably end up going. So I think it's a good idea. I like it. I'm all in. I might even buy one to, it just seems like an extra layer to go into a game.
Do you already have a ticket?
No, I haven't ordered tickets yet.
Oh.
So this is the perfect opportunity. $60 and
low gambling action.
See what happens, see what happens from it. But no, it was a good weekend of sports. But the one that caught my attention the most, I want to talk about this, get out of the way because I'm sure not a lot of people care about it. Did you watch any of the Inter Miami Nashville SC Leagues Cup final?
No, I saw the missed goal the dude had where he had the chip shot over the goalie and just missed the goal. Yeah. Why? That was tough. Inter Miami obviously won.
They won.
But I didn't see how the game ended.
So Lionel Messi scored early, probably in like the 20th minute or so, gives them a goal. Second half rolls around. Nashville evens up the score, 1-1. A lot of opportunities for both sides. They end up in the last 2 minutes of the game. Inter Miami has a great look where the forward kicks it over the defender. The goalie dives, misses it, and he had an opportunity, but just got a little too far out and missed it.
That's what I just said.
Oh,
That's
is that
the
what
goal
you were
I'm
talking
about?
Oh, I thought you were talking about a different goal. Yeah, that was in the final minute of the game. And then, so in Leagues Cup, they don't go to extra time. They go straight to shootouts, which I didn't know until I was watching it. And I think they went through 11 shots, and they were just even. I think both teams going into the last one had only missed one shot. And so the goalies had to both go. And so Inter Miami's goalie steps up, nails the penalty kick. Nashville SC's goalie steps up, who did not do good in the penalty kick, stopping a lot of goals from Inter Miami. He steps up and couldn't convert, and so Inter Miami won. But it was thrilling. Oh, it was so entertaining to watch on Apple TV.
That's kind of wild.
It was crazy. I mean, it was back to back to back to back, and it was. So
they win the Leagues Cup.
Whatever that means. I don't know.
Well, that means it's all the American leagues are competing.
But this is the first year of it, isn't it?
I believe so.
It's very new in terms of.
But it just includes the USL and the MLS and USL2 and.
Oh.
Isn't that what the Leagues Cup is? I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right because I remember
the first round they played in Miami CF, and that's
I know Memphis ended up playing Atlanta at one point because they won their first game or something.
That was the Leagues Cup, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And Inter Miami won it.
Good for them.
God bless them.
With Lionel Messi on their team.
So now Miami can finally play an MLS game. I mean, now Messi can finally play an MLS game.
Yeah, because they had canceled their game on Saturday because they were going to they felt like they had a good chance going to the finals.
Yes,
or
right.
Sunday. They had a game on Sunday.
And I think they did play
night.
Another game where he just didn't play.
Messi?
Along the road, yeah. They've been playing MLS games while they've been in the League Cup. They haven't just been playing League Cup games.
Up until the last 3 weeks. MLS has been off for the last 3 weeks.
Right. But since it started, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I don't think – I think there was one opportunity for Messi to play in a game other than the one they canceled, and I don't believe he played in it.
Interesting.
But my information could be wrong on that.
Yeah, no, Messi's tearing up the MLS, or at least he was tearing up the Leagues Cup.
He tore up the Leagues
Cup. Different from the MLS. He hasn't
And
played in the
anything
MLS.
in the
We
MLS
just had
yet.
this conversation, and I messed it up. I apologize. But that's what everyone tweets. I mean, you see people tweet about Messi and scoring goals, and they're like, Messi's already tearing up the MLS, and so it's
Or
just...
to listen to Sports Time, and then they could get it straight. It is an MLS team.
Maybe just listen to you. I mean, you're on all day.
It is an MLS team.
It is an MLS
So
team.
I guess that from that regard, he's tearing up the MLS.
Yeah.
But I don't believe they're MLS stats because they're Leagues Cup stats.
I think you're right. I think in terms of MLS stats, he's
These are Cup stats.
0 and 0 and
Yep.
0 or whatever it would be.
Bingo.
So, but it was a thrilling game, and I'm not a huge soccer guy, but
Sounds like it.
I was locked in, especially late in the second half. We also had the big UFC card over the weekend. Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He's the next star of UFC.
Uh-uh.
Oh yes, they are going to promote him to be.
But it's
the
not
biggest star
boxing.
of UFC.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
It seems like that's how it's been working.
How
over
in the world?
weekend.
No. That's not how it works at all. If that was true, then Ronda Rousey never would still be fighting in the UFC. But it was such a fledgling thing that they were just touting these stars all over the place, and that was a different era. But Sugar Sean is touted like a bygone era of UFC, where they would just tout the next person up. They would lose. Everybody would lose interest in them promoting them, and it would be over with. So Sean O'Malley is still super young.
He is.
I quite frankly don't think he has a shot to retain this belt. I think
Really?
he loses his next
But
fight.
I mean, after that fight, they were pushing that result more than I've seen them push a lot of things.
What do you mean? He knocked him out?
I know, and it was like immediately after that, like UFC's official accounts were posting like the entire fight on like YouTube and
Was a huge
all over
underdog
social
favorite, and he's
media.
a big, and like you said, he has charisma and he's super
Yeah.
popular, so they're going to promote the hell out of him. He's going to be a big favorite in his next fight. And I think he has a long career. I think he has a lot of winning. Like by the end of it, he has a really good career.
Sure.
He's not consistent enough next. He's
Really?
not like, he doesn't fight like, he's not the same size as these guys either. But like the most dominant UFC fighters are winning consistently at a high level, one after another after another, and he's not fighting that. He's really just coming up. Like you're seeing his come up in the UFC.
He was an Ultimate Fighter contestant, wasn't he?
Is that right?
Either Ultimate Fighter or Contender Series. I know he came through one of those.
he was
one of
before
those
the
way.
Contender Series.
So then I think he was part of the Ultimate Fighter. I think he won the Ultimate Fighter, and that's how he got to start. Or at least
Possibly
was
so.
on the show. And that's kind of how people got introduced to him, at least at the beginning. But no, he's fun. He's fun to watch. But you're right, very young.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. He was on the second Contender Series.
Really?
I really thought he's been around before the Contender
What year was
Series.
that?
That would have been 2016, 2017.
Wow, I didn't realize the Contender
2017.
Series had been around that long.
Yeah, neither did I. Yeah, so he was on the second one, 2017.
Yeah. So.
And he got to start on there.
Yeah, so like you said, still very young. And
he's good. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I really like him a lot.
I haven't watched a ton of them. I don't really buy a ton of the pay-per-views to watch UFC because I'm not super locked into the sport like that. But I'll watch them here and there, and I know how much after that fight everyone was talking about it and saying he's gonna be the next big thing in UFC. So I was like, you know what? I think you're right. But you're taking me off that edge.
A split decision with Peter Yan is.
Yeah.
I don't like a split decision win.
Yeah.
That got him a title fight. That's tough, man. I don't think he deserved
That's true.
it. But he did win it, so I guess he did deserve it. He won.
Won it handedly. Knockout early in the second
Maybe
round.
maybe I'm thinking he doesn't deserve it, and that's why I think he's going to lose the next one. So like I'm compounding at this point, but I really just don't see. He's just going to get too good a fight. I think maybe not. I don't know. I think he gets too good a fight his next fight, and I think he loses.
That'd be interesting.
Who knows?
Be a fun storyline to follow, I guess. But last thing I do want to get to before we get to top and not top story of the day. Over the weekend, a lot of Major League Baseball games had to be pushed up a day in California because of Hurricane Hillary rolling through California. I think it ended up being downgraded to a tropical storm before it hit California. But have you seen the picture is that a real picture of Dodger Stadium that's like it's flooded all around it?
I'm not sure.
I
didn't see that picture. I'm not sure if it's real or not.
It looks awful. I mean, it looks like they won't be. I don't know if they have a homestand coming up or not. But
a lot of people were getting fooled by the internet last night with pictures.
Yes, there were a lot of videos and pictures that were not that were very fake, and people were falling for it. So that's why I didn't want to fall for the Dodger Stadium picture, because it at first I was like, oh wow, that looks awful. I mean, if you haven't seen the picture, it's like Dodger Stadium, and literally everything around it is completely flooded. But the field looks too clean. Like, it doesn't look like it's flooded or wet or anything. It looks pretty intact and pretty dry from what I was seeing. And so that's why I was like, I don't know, this could be fake.
Could be. They do have good drainage systems on baseball fields. I don't know if that makes a difference.
So that could be it. That's what someone said. If this is a real picture, then they have the best drainage system.
But why would a field in Los Angeles have that? There's no reason to.
Have a drainage system like that? Exactly. So I think it was a fake picture.
Could be.
But I'm glad they moved all the games up. We had a ton of baseball on Saturday because of those games being moved up to a doubleheader. We didn't have to worry about all of the storms and rain and flooding on Sunday in any of those games. So hopefully it wasn't too bad out in California and it doesn't disrupt anything going forward. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day at 3:30. We'll get into some NFL as preseason week 2 is behind us, and some news coming out over the weekend, pretty interesting in the NFL. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports will join us, talk some college football as it's officially week 0. We'll have football this weekend, and then it will really get underway next week in week 1. 4:30, we'll stay on that topic and talk some college football. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, we'll get into some baseball as the wild card races are starting to heat up in both the American League and the National League. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Summer clearance sale going on right now at Family Leisure, and they need your help to clear out inventory. All DIY pools, $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pool, less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Patio furniture up to 30% off. Spas, they're in stock and up to $1,200 off. And don't forget about the 24-month same as cash financing, now available only at Family Leisure, 2120 Winton Road, just north of I-40.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. The one and only Lexus dealership in town. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. And when you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, after a long summer and a long offseason, college football will officially be back on Saturday. 6 games on the schedule starting at 1:30 on NBC. Navy versus number 13 ranked Notre Dame. You got UTEP, Jacksonville State, UMass, New Mexico State, Ohio, San Diego State, Hawaii, Vanderbilt, San Jose State versus USC, and then we'll end the night at 8 p.m. Florida International, I should say, versus Louisiana Tech. So 6, I think, kind of a lot of smaller schools involved in week 0, which I like. Kind of get a look at some of these teams on a bigger stage. You've got UMass and New Mexico State on ESPN at 6 p.m. You would never get that week 1 through the rest of the season. So it's kind of fun to see some of these smaller schools, schools that are kind kind of considered the worst teams or the not as great teams in college football kind of on this stage for week 0. So I'm excited. 6 games will be really fun on Saturday. I know there's also some FCS games on Saturday. I know ABC's got a pretty big one that night on ABC. Jackson State versus South Carolina State will be on ABC Saturday night. So a lot of fun football. I'm really excited for Saturday.
Wow, how about that? I mean, it's football time in Tennessee. It's my top story, too. But also with high school football starting last week, that's pretty neat. And then Aaron Rodgers making his debut for the Jets this week. Pretty noteworthy to me. You got a lot of quarterbacks playing some time. You had Josh Allen playing this weekend. He played about a quarter and a half. That was noteworthy,
they played
too.
A lot. The Stars played a lot for the Bills.
Steelers played pretty much everybody. Football's ramping up, and you can feel it in the air. Week 0 coming up here. I'm really excited for this Vanderbilt-Hawaii game, too.
Me
That'll
too.
be a good one as well. And then Navy, Notre Dame, like you said, probably the most noteworthy game. It's one people are most excited about, probably. Is maybe just because it's Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But that'll be a national TV game, and that's fun.
It's also the first game of the day.
That's
so
right.
That's another reason.
So
I
we'll
think
gamble
a lot of
on
people
it.
Exactly. Start the
Not
right.
top story of the day.
My not top story of the day, and I know we'll talk a lot of baseball later in the show, but all the hate Pete Alonso got Friday night after tossing Mason Wynn's ball into the stands. I mean, lay off the guy. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm actually surprised this doesn't happen more often, where players aren't paying attention and aren't thinking and throw a first hit into the stands. And so when Pete Alonso did it to Mason Wynn, I didn't think it was a big deal. I know a lot of people, Cardinals fans on Twitter, on social media, were losing their minds about it. Pete Alonso got booed the rest of the series, and it seemed like he felt really bad about it afterwards. The ball was recovered. I mean, the guy that he threw it to and caught it immediately gave it back, so Mason Wynn got his first ball. Pete Alonso said he talked to Mason Wynn about it. I think he said he was going to try to get Mason Wynn something for the next day to try to make it right, make it up to him. So I didn't think it was a big deal. And like I said, I'm really surprised that it doesn't happen more often, because I think in the moment, in the game, you're not really thinking, you're paying attention to the game at hand. And so when a player gets a first hit, unless you hear people say, hey, it's his first hit, throw it in, sure, but if you're not paying attention, I feel like it's very easy to throw the ball up in the stands or do something with it instead of giving it to the team.
Yeah, it's a good point by you. My not top story of the day, this idiot, Pete Alonso, throwing the ball into the stands. What a moron. I mean, please. You are so unaware of the situation that you just take the ball and chunk it 40 feet into the stands? How often over the course of a baseball game, when a ball is hit to you and the play is dead, does Pete Alonso just throw it as hard as he can in the stands all the time?
He said,
somebody make me a video compilation of all the times Pete Alonso has done this. What a moron. And for him to be so defensive after the fact, grow up, Pete. We get it. The only thing you've ever taken serious is the home run derby. You don't even take a game serious. You don't care about anything. You have the worst attitude in the history of baseball. Give me a break. This guy, an absolute clown. Honestly, Mets should cut him. He should be kicked out of baseball. Colin Kaepernick treatment. How about that? Not to get political.
I didn't think we were going to sit on such different sides on that one. Thought we'd be pretty locked in on that, but I guess we're on completely opposite ends of the spectrum on this one. But hey, your opinion's your opinion. I just think it was just a mistake, but whatever. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the NFL.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Whatever vehicle needs you may be wishing for, we've got you covered at Gossett Mitsubishi. 41 MPG Highway that can turn on a dime, that's 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $17,395 or $249 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross combines luxurious styling with cutting-edge technology, generous cargo room, and versatility. $29,100 or $399 a month. And the powerful and fun-to-drive 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander. $29,580 or $499 a month. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, G4 PH 006839, MSRP 17895, Cross RZ 000688, MSRP 29850, Outlander PZO 59809, MSRP 30080, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If that sound gives you nightmares, there's a cheap and easy way to avoid engines not firing. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Pour Stable in your gas can or directly into the tank of your car, truck, hybrid, boat, ATV, motorcycle, or lawnmower to prevent fuel-related engine problems that cost time and money. When you store, start with Stable.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over and unders, and a lot more. So visit FanDuel.com/sports56. Promo code sports56 and kick off the NFL season with FanDuel. Official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable. Bonus bets expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Well, Brett just talked about the NFL, talking about FanDuel, but week 2 almost behind us. One game tonight on ESPN between the Commanders and the Ravens.
Commies.
The Commies, Sam Howell.
No, you don't have to say the nickname, too. I'll just be the nickname
You'll
guy.
be the nickname guy. But Sam Howell, I'm guessing going to see some action tonight. He was named the QB1 last week by the Commanders. But tonight, the Ravens go for, 26 in a row on ESPN. I saw the line earlier was just -1 for the Ravens.
Yeah, one
I don't know
and a half.
if that's gone up. I'll take him at -1. Seems like a good bet to me.
A lot of these games can be tied, though. That's a factor, I think. And I've seen a lot of 1-point deficits as well, so I think that's also a factor. These are some kooky scores we saw.
Yeah.
That game it was 18-18. These are very kooky scores, so it's not very predictable at all. But if there's anything predictable, it's 25 in a row, right?
Yeah.
That's the most predictable.
It shows the Ravens are going out there looking to win. They're not just looking to see guys. They're going out there trying to win these games.
So I think that's why that's the bet for tonight.
Just the money line or the spread?
If you can find.
Let's see what it is.
What do you think? 25, -125.
Yeah, I'd probably
maybe -130. But I wouldn't. It's
Let's
preseason
go to FanDuel
football.
and see.
I would
see
just
what
do
they've
1.5. I would just do 1.5.
Let's see what FanDuel
Or one.
has for tonight.
And just trust Coach Harbaugh's a kook, and he's going to go for the win.
So FanDuel right now has Ravens -1, and the money line is 120. Not bad.
I could take 120.
Take 120. I could take 120. Over under 37.5. I don't want to mess with the spread or the total, but I'll take.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the total.
I'll take Baltimore 120.
Yeah.
That's not as bad. I was thinking by now it'd be 130, 140.
Especially if one is 110. It's not what I'd take 120. That's fine.
I'd probably take 120. So that'll be fun to watch tonight on ESPN, especially since a lot of these preseason games.
Didn't even realize it was on ESPN. Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of hard to believe.
Monday Night Football preview.
Right. So they're trying to get everything set, kind of a dress rehearsal for them for the regular season. But so it'll be on ESPN, especially when a lot of these preseason games kind of hard to find. They'll have one like marquee game on NFL Network, but for a lot of these games, they're happening at the same time, so you can only really watch one of them. So it'll be nice to have some football on ESPN tonight.
Who's starting for the Ravens? Brett Hundley?
I would say so, but I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I haven't heard anything that the Ravens are going to play their ones, but it seems like a lot of people have been playing them lately, so I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and played their
I
ones.
was wondering if they were even going to rest Brett Hundley, quite frankly.
Oh, really?
That was why I was asking. Not that they were going to start Lamar.
No. I think Brett Hundley would play. I haven't seen anything that he wouldn't. I don't know why he wouldn't.
I don't know why he wouldn't.
I was kind of surprised that over the weekend, just seeing how many teams played their starters, I was kind of surprised when I watched the Cowboys game that they didn't play any of their starters.
It's kind of 50-50.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of up in the air on who plays and who doesn't. But the Seahawks played a lot of their starters for, I think, multiple.
What do you think's the
multiple
differentiator?
drives.
Is it how stat-oriented the team is? Is it owner input? Is it peer pressure from around the league and stuff like that? Because Mike Tomlin still plays everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's...
And he does a damn good job of coaching a football team, too. So it seems like if I was a coach, and I don't know anything, but if that guy thinks it's a good idea, I might pay a little bit more attention to what he says. But I don't know.
I mean, I think it's probably mostly like a team-by-team basis, just kind of what your philosophy is as a head coach. But it would almost seem to be kind of probably more analytically driven than anything. Probably, I'm sure there's something in there that says you don't want to play your starters because of injury or this factor or that factor. So I'm sure that's part of it, but especially now that you only have 3 preseason games, I mean, it doesn't hurt to give your starters 2 drives or a quarter of action.
Yeah, I wonder what I think some teams are doing it less because of how many more reps they get at practice. I think other teams are holding guys out of practice reps too, I've heard.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But I think that's the super nerdy guys that you see that happen with.
In which they're becoming more and more of those super analytically driven coaches that are kind of doing things differently in the league.
A lot of people thought Mike McDaniel would be that, but he's turned out to be a little bit more traditional, hard-nosed football coach than people thought.
Tua got, 2 drives over the weekend, and threw an interception the first one, but then had a really good drive his second. His second drive. But yeah, no, I was surprised the Cowboys didn't play anybody. They played the Seahawks.
Honestly, how dare you bring up the Tua through an interception? Though that's ridiculous. I mean, they're going to come after you now. We're literally live on Twitter. Tuanon is coming for you.
I was just saying. I mean, it's a fact.
Yeah. You
Jack.
don't have to reiterate it.
I mean, he did. He threw an interception. There's nothing wrong with it. Get
Say
those out
what-
in the preseason.
You know what? Say it a third time.
He threw an interception.
I mean, you're asking for us to just get bombarded with messages.
Tuanon, come at me.
Asking for it.
I'm ready for it. But you talked about it earlier. Aaron Rodgers is going to play this weekend in their preseason game, which I was shocked to see.
Make his Jets debut.
Yeah.
If it's
I don't
good
even know
enough
they're
for
playing.
yeah, that's another thing for Anthony Richardson that I was saying earlier, and that's obviously an extreme example. And that coach clearly seems to be a super nerd,
Mm-hmm.
and that Anthony Richardson isn't playing any preseason games.
No, Anthony Richardson's been playing. He played week 1, I know for a fact.
This big story today is that Anthony Richardson is not playing in any preseason games.
He definitely played week 1. He threw an interception in week 1.
Well, I misunderstood
another
the
quarterback
story.
that
I must have misunderstood the popular story of the day.
he might not be playing anymore.
In the remaining games?
Yeah,
Well,
maybe
could
he
be.
didn't play in game 2 and isn't going to play in game 3.
So in the game he played in, what did he play? What did he do? He played
I know
the whole game?
I can't remember. I know he threw an interception. I mean, I can pull it up for you.
I got you.
You got me? But I know his first drive he threw an interception on like his third play. Because that's what everyone was talking about, and people were tweeting out like,
Oh, it's just against the Bears.
that he's not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Locked up that number 1, and they don't need to see anymore.
Apparently not. I was under the impression he hadn't played at all.
No, he's definitely played. I remember I made it a priority to watch his first game.
I haven't watched a single preseason.
You haven't watched a single preseason. Will you watch tonight? It's on ESPN.
Probably not.
Well, dress rehearsal on ESPN.
Probably won't.
No? Will you watch Aaron Rodgers' first game?
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I'm trying to look who the Jets play. The Giants. Jets versus Giants.
Yeah,
Daniel Jones got some action.
That's right.
Last
Because
game.
Tom Rock tweeted that out. I saw this morning.
And Darren Waller looked really good. I mean, they hooked up like 3 or 4 times on the first drive.
They don't have his preseason stats listed on here, unfortunately.
Who?
1 interception, 67 yards, no touchdowns. That's as good as I can get from you.
Who are we talking about?
Anthony Richardson.
Oh, in his first game. Yeah, that sounds about right. Watch some of that game. Have you watched any Hard Knocks yet?
No, I haven't watched one episode.
What is your problem?
I haven't watched it yet.
Episode 3 tomorrow night.
That's right.
That's crazy. You haven't even watched a second of it. That makes me upset.
Nope. I have not. But I did turn on NFL Network for you in there, so make sure you could stay in tune with everything happening.
But it seems like I've been watching more NFL than you have, so.
Well, you need to. Gardner Minshew, though, 179 yards and a tutty.
I'm
13 of 15 in his last game.
I'm still surprised Gardner Minshew isn't the starter week 1. I'll be honest.
I think he should be. I think
so
the
too.
Eagles would have been undefeated and they would have won the Super Bowl last year if he was the starter.
Undefeated. How many games did they lose last year? Outside of the Super Bowl.
One that he played in. So I'm saying they would have won that game if he would have started
Against the
whole year.
Cowboys. That
That's
was
right.
against the Cowboys.
He started.
I knew they lost against Cowboys. I forgot Gardner Minshew.
So they
was the starter.
also lost one game that he played in, but I don't really care. I
Doesn't
think
count.
they would have won every game the whole season
because
if
he
had
didn't have
started.
that consistency.
Exactly.
If he had been the starter the entire season.
Bingo. And they would have won the Super Bowl.
I like it.
901-360-8255.
But no, I mean, I just think with everything we saw last year from Anthony Richardson in college and then coming in this year, I mean, athletic freak for sure and could have a really good career. I just think to start it, you should go with the older, more experienced veteran that has been around the league as a great backup quarterback for the past, 4 or 5 years.
Well, he started 1 year.
Did start 1 year, yeah. But, I mean, he's made his name kind of as that backup quarterback that is super reliable. Like you just said, he could have been the starter last year, and you think he would have been undefeated.
Yeah, I don't think that's a popular opinion.
I don't think so either. But he's still he's a really good backup quarterback, and that's one reason the Colts brought him in this year was to kind of bring that stability in the quarterback room with Anthony Richardson in there. So I'm blown away that he's not the starting quarterback. Some other things I saw over the weekend in these preseason games. Calvin Austin had another electric play. It was a punt return. Took it back for like 40 yards or so.
I remember last preseason, the beat writers raved about him in camp too, and they're doing it again this year.
Yeah,
if he just stays healthy,
exactly.
he's
Because
unbelievable.
last year it seemed like he was going to be kind of that.
They were going to go to him.
And then he got injured. So this year, you stay healthy.
And the Steelers make a note of featuring their second and third wide receivers all the time in everything they do.
Yeah. So I think it's a really good spot for him to be at. A lot of young guys around him. You got George Pickens in that wide receiver room with you. You've got Kenny Pickett back there at quarterback. So I think it's good. I'm really excited tomorrow afternoon when we talk to Bo to kind of ask him about Calvin and what he's seen.
Are we ranking quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think we will be ranking
what
quarterbacks
division?
tomorrow. It's above my pay grade right now.
What have we done? It's got to be AFC South. Have we done Tannehill yet? Yeah, we did, because I made a Davis Mills joke already.
NFC,
what did we do last week? We did the AFC
West.
So it has to be the NFC West.
Have we done NFC West? Because you got mad at me because I had.
Now we're just deliberating what divisions we've done. Anyway,
maybe we might be done. I don't know. I could be wrong. But no, Calvin Austin had another big-time play in the second preseason game, which I think is huge because he had a touchdown in his first game, which is big. You said you watched some of the Titans game this weekend.
Yeah, I saw a little bit.
Did you see Tyjae Spears, the running back?
Nobody
from
stood
Tulane?
out. Nobody really stood out. Right?
This guy, I think, is awesome. He's from Tulane, rookie, drafted in like the 4th or 5th round of the draft. Like I said, from Tulane, had a big year last year for the Green Wave. When we talked to Nick Suss a couple weeks ago from the Tennessean, he was raving about him, what he had seen in practice from this guy. On Sunday, I think he had a big touchdown run, a big run. I think it resulted in a touchdown. I think this guy's going to be unbelievable for the Titans. Rookie, very young guy, can kind of wait in the wings, so to speak, and then maybe next year or the year after. I think they'll use him this year, but I think here in 2 or 3 years he could be the number one back.
Yeah, I think he scored the first touchdown of the game.
He might have.
I think he did. That was in the first
I know he
quarter.
scored.
That was in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So I think he was the featured back in that game with Malik Willis, and Malik Willis played the whole game.
Did he really?
Mason Kinsey played a little bit at the end of the game, and he's been a practice squad player for the Titans. He, Division III player, went to Berry College.
Oh, wow.
And so this is his 4th year in NFL as a practice squad player for the Titans, and he kind of is a preseason staple. And he had 4 receptions. He got a carry on an end around that went for like 6-7 yards too. So, that's one team I do like watching, the younger guys, because, you hear a lot of reporting, and I'm sure we talking to Nick Suss the other day, and, that's reporting that I like seeing sometimes, too, is what's going on with practice squad guys, and these are a lot of names that I think probably every franchise around the NFL has names on the practice squad that are there kind of every year. Oh, he's been with us for 2-3 years now. He knows our program. We can call him up at a moment's notice, and it's fun to see those guys get reps for the Titans in this last game against the Vikings.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So how much did Will Levis play? Did Will Levis play at all?
Not a down.
Really?
Didn't play second.
That's interesting. I didn't.
Unless he handed it off at the very end of the game.
Wow.
That I didn't see.
Wow. That is actually surprising. I didn't get to see any of that game. But
you know who started for the Vikings?
Trace McSorley.
No.
Who?
Nick Mullins.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Nick Mullins. Great.
How about that?
Great name. How'd he do?
Pretty good, I think. I don't think he had a touchdown or anything, but I think he was completing some passes.
Yeah.
I mean, he was certainly giving the Titans secondary some headaches.
Some trouble. I think that's a big question mark going into the season, is the Titans secondary.
Yeah, that's what people say, but it was a good question mark last year too. It ended up being a lot better than people thought.
Good, so maybe it won't.
And they got a good front too, so that makes up for a lot of things as well. You can play a little more aggressive when you got a good, if you can get pressure on the quarterback and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Mullins, former Golden Flat. What is Southern
Golden
Miss?
Eagle.
Golden Eagle.
There you go. And then had that big couple of games for the 49ers a couple of years ago.
Everybody has a couple of games.
Yeah, everyone does.
You and I can play quarterback for the Niners.
That's right. But I did watch a little bit of the Jaguars game, and Tank Bigsby, the rookie from Auburn, had a good day, and it sounds like they might use him a lot this year in that offense.
You think more than what's his face Brian Harsin did?
Probably.
What a joke that was.
I
You
mean,
remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember how
Brian
many weeks in a
Harson's
row?
entire tenure at Auburn was a joke.
No, remember they beat Ole Miss, and they gave him the ball like 40 times.
Yep.
And he ran
He was
all
awesome.
over them.
He was awesome.
And then he just quit giving the kid the football. He was the best player on the field in damn near every game they played, and he wouldn't get the football. I didn't understand it.
And now
he's going to get it for the best team in the AFC South.
literally the head coach comes out and says, yeah, we're probably going to use him a lot
That's
in the offense.
crazy, man.
And now you have Travis Etienne and now Tank Bigsby, two really young running backs that you can kind of rely on through the season. That's going to be a fun 1-2 punch. But then there's...
Paul says Will Levis was out with a lower body injury from earlier in the week. He injured himself in practice, so that's why he didn't play in the game.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Good to know.
Good note. I actually did not know that.
I didn't either. I'm glad it wasn't like he was out because he's going to be QB3 or they just didn't want to see him anymore. I'm glad to know it's an injury. Hopefully not a too serious injury. But I was watching, like I said, a lot of the Jaguars game. This wide receiver, another rookie, Parker Washington from Penn State, was awesome.
What position?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
He scored at one point, but he was also their punt returner and just seemed like a really fast, flashy guy. I don't remember him much at Penn State, but...
Parker Washington, you said?
Parker Washington. He was fun to watch. I don't know how much he'll be used for the Jaguars this year. I don't even know if he'll make the roster for the Jaguars. But watching him, I guess it was Saturday when I was watching. Maybe it was yesterday, whenever they played. I liked him. I kept a tab on him and said, this is a guy I'm going to keep an eye on through the rest of the preseason and then hopefully in the regular season.
Yeah, it sounds like he's doing well, but it's hard to gauge preseason anymore.
Is.
But Tajay Spears, by the way, 83 yards was the length of that run.
Wow.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, no, he was good. And like I said, I remember him having a big year last year at Tulane. And so
I would love to save this hush. I would love to save this segment and play it back like in week 8.
Yeah.
And just think about all the funny names that we named over the course of this last 10, 15 minutes and think about how unimportant they are at that point in time.
Preseason football is all about. It's just random names that you'll never hear again that you just enjoy watching for a couple of weeks. That's what it is. Let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little college football. That's next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo, Saturday, August 26, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications, performing basic testing, and interviewing candidates on site. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. Salary starting at $60,700. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique, fun bet types like same-game parlay, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boost on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. If you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, what are you waiting for? Go to FanDuel.com, Sports56 promo code to get in on the action, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Just go to FanDuel.com, Sports56 to join now or sign into your FanDuel Sportsbook account. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Save up to $300 on a new energy-efficient tanked or tankless water heater from Conway Services. Upgrade your old, inefficient water heater with a new energy-efficient model. Or better yet, a tankless unit, so you're only heating the water you need and you never run out. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte PE 659,993, MSRP 22,540, Nero P 501,5237, MSRP 41,390, EV6 P 560,3393, MSRP 50,200, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details. Offer valid through 9/5/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
I got Jeff Allen on the line. Hey, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, we got deals everyone wants. How about 41 MPG Highway, 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, give me some EV scoop.
2023 Nero EV Win, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $292 a month. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Win with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE. Only $425 a month, both $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty to boot.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we wrap up our first hour on this Monday afternoon. I forgot to mention in the last segment when we were talking about the NFL, I'm sure you saw the headlines over the weekend that Miles Jack, the linebacker who spent most of his career with the Jaguars and then was with Pittsburgh last year, signed over the offseason to a one-year deal with the Eagles. He announced his retirement after their game Thursday night. They were the first game of the season. Miles Jack, who has only been in the league for 7 years, this would have been his 8th in the NFL.
Only.
Well, I shouldn't say only, but it would have been his 8th year in. But I mean, still pretty young, only 27, 28 years old. You'd think he still had some time left in his career, but over the offseason, he wasn't sure if he was going to sign to any team in free agency. He was kind of leaning to going to trade school and kind of starting a different career. Signed with the Eagles, and kind of it's been an up-and-down camp for him, and kind of a couple up-and-down preseason games. And this weekend, he announced that he's gonna go to trade school and retire from the NFL. So
what trade?
I think he said he wanted to be a plumber or something like that.
How about that?
I don't know. So
fit right in the NBA in 1945.
I guess so. So I was surprised though to hear that. Now kind of reading about it, it really wasn't a lock that he would have made the final roster. But I was a little surprised yesterday when I saw that headline that he was going to retire, hang him up, and but I thought he was pretty good when he was with the Jaguars for all of those years. 6 of them with the Jaguars. Last year, not a huge year with Pittsburgh, but yeah, Miles Jack, gonna hang him up.
God bless him, honestly. We do need plumbers. We need more people going to trade school.
We do.
God bless him.
And he's
helping out society.
I guess deciding that's what he wants to do with his life.
Higher calling.
Post football.
Higher calling.
Good for him. I don't know if I'd want to be a plumber, but hey.
What about a refrigerator repairman? That's a trade, I believe.
I don't think I could do that either.
Electrician is a trade.
I don't know if I could do any of the trades. I'm just not great with those sorts of things.
You don't have the tricks of the trade.
I don't. No.
Or the tools of the trade?
No, man.
Do trades have tools? Is it tools of the trade?
Sure.
Is there a tools of the trade?
You use tools. I mean, you use
you sure
plumber,
do
you
use
use a
tools?
wrench and such. Me and Melinda were talking about that the other day.
What about just a generic handyman?
I'm not a handyman. My brother, he's a handyman. I mean, he can fix a lot of things.
Well, like, you could start a business as a handyman, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I could go to trade school. Could you go to multiple trade schools? Could I go to, like, plumbing school and
How long are trade schools?
I'm going to say, total guess, 2 years. I'm going to look it up while I say it. Now, you have to talk while
So it's just
Google.
it's like a community college. Like, you'd be like going to a community college 2 years, and then you get your trade degree?
1 to 2 years.
Interesting. So you could do it in 1 year.
Typical programs take 1 to 2 years to complete.
Wow.
Like traditional 4-year colleges, Tennessee's trade schools offer student services and include career and academic advising. I don't know why I read that sentence. I thought it was going to be noteworthy. It was not. I'm sorry. 1 to 2 years to complete, Bryant.
So I guess you could do multiple trades. You go to one and then go to the other. It'd be just like going to a 4-year school. I guess
So
you'd
I could
want to
go,
work
like,
afterwards, though, after one of those
Learn
trades.
how to be a plumber. I could learn electrician.
There's
HVAC's a trade.
I know, I knew this kid that wanted to do. He wanted to be able to work on planes, and he had found a trade school where he could learn how to work on planes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot of trades out there.
What kind of trade is that?
I don't know.
Plane trade.
Plane engineer. I don't
Plane
know.
technician.
Aero engineer or something like that.
Ooh. Aerospace engineer. No, that seems like a lot of schooling you got to go to for
Not
that.
space involved into it, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trades. I'm just not a handyman.
What are you?
Just a man.
You're merely but a man.
But a man, and barely that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good
You
for
are
my
not
boy.
a handy man. I am but a man. Anyway.
That Shakespeare or something?
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Sure does. Let's go ahead, wrap up this hour, get to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a lot of college football with David Cobb from CBS Sports.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Whatever vehicle needs you may be wishing for, we've got you covered at Gossett Mitsubishi. 41 MPG highway that can turn on a dime, that's 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $17,395 or $249 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross combines luxurious styling with cutting-edge technology, generous cargo room, and versatility. $29,100 or $399 a month. And the powerful and fun to drive 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander. $29,580 or $499 a month. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, G4 PH 006839, MSRP 17895, Cross RZ 00688, MSRP 29850, Outlander PZO 59809, MSRP 30080, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You could just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Jay Morgan Harder with you. No Brett Norsworthy this week, but he'll be back next week as we get ready for week 1. But joining us now as we get ready for week 0 this weekend, David Cobb from CBS Sports joins us now. David, thanks so much for joining us. College football, it begins this weekend, and I saw earlier today on CBS Sports, you and all of your college football colleagues picked the ACC, and interestingly enough, multiple of y'all over at CBS Sports picked Clemson to finish ahead of Florida State after all of the hype this offseason. But you not only have Clemson finishing ahead of Florida State, you have them in the college football playoffs. What gives, in your opinion, Clemson the edge over Florida State this year?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a new era of Clemson offense, or an era of Clemson offense that more closely resembles the best of what we saw under Trevor Lawrence several years ago now, because the last couple seasons under DJU, the play calling, the passing attack were subpar by Clemson standards. So Dabo Swinney did something that we rarely see him do, which is go outside that Clemson family and hire a rock star coordinator in Garrett Riley, who was the offensive coordinator at TCU last year and who is the younger brother of USC coach Lincoln Riley. So you talk about a pedigree. Yeah. My gosh, this guy has it. He has the family name and the recent success. So if Dabo lets him run that offense with Cade Klubnik, I still think Clemson is the team to beat in the ACC. I'm not like selling Florida State. I'm not selling Mike Norvell.
Right.
The hype is warranted. I just think when push comes to shove, Florida State plays at Clemson this year.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson, I think, wins that game in Death Valley. Maybe there's a rematch in the ACC title game, but I just can't quite get there yet with the Noles.
I mean, what an incredible day, David, for me to wear my Miami shirt the day we're breaking down ACC football. I mean, I am on it today. But I want to ask you again about Clemson in particular. So you have them going to the college football playoff. What does that mean? What kind of competition do they make for the other schools that you predict would be in the college football playoff?
I think they're right there. I think Clemson's talent level is still pretty high. Now you put in a competent offensive coordinator with a quarterback who we only saw scratch the surface last year in Cade Klubnik, with Will Shipley returning in the backfield, a really good offensive line. I mean, the question with Clemson is the receivers, and they just don't have the high-level playmakers on the outside like some of the other top contenders in college football typically do. So we got to see somebody emerge from that group. But, guys, I'm looking at this Clemson schedule, and I don't really see anything that makes me panic too much in terms of, oh, wow, they'll be lucky to get through the regular season with fewer than 2 losses, right? So it's not like they open with a Georgia or something, as they have at times in years past. That ain't on there. That obviously Notre Dame is a big out of conference game for Clemson, but I just think I think overall, like in the grand scheme of things, Clemson football is trending down from the dynasty level stuff that we saw earlier in Dabo's tenure. However, it's cyclical, right? Like it's 2 steps back and then 1 step forward, and I think this is a step forward kind of year. Now, if Garrett Riley lights the world on fire and then goes and becomes a head coach somewhere else, well, then we're back to square one. So I'm not necessarily saying that, like, oh, Clemson's, atop the throne in the ACC and nobody can mess with them from here on out. I'm not really there. I think Florida State's building to that. I just think next year might be a year where that's more likely than this season.
So you have Clemson as one of your 4 teams in the college football playoffs. Who are the other 3?
Yeah, that's TBD. Okay, so we gotta submit them by noon tomorrow for publication later this week. So I'm kind of like getting the house in order here before I send off those last national predictions, because that's the sort of thing that people screenshot and throw in your face.
Oh yeah.
Come December when it turns out you were dead wrong, right? It's like I got to make sure I got my I's dotted and my T's crossed before I send that in. I'm going to have Clemson in there. I'm going to have Georgia in there.
Sure.
Who are the other 2 going to be? We'll see. I'm not totally convinced that I'm certain on that yet. There's some good candidates this year. I mean, it feels like there's 10, 11, 12 teams that have a good shot to make the CFP this season.
What about LSU? I mean, after what Brian Kelly did last year in year 1, you get Jaden Daniels back for a second season. I mean, could they do enough this year to make the college football playoffs?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, they're my SEC West pick over Alabama because they are the reigning SEC champions. They return a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback and Jaden Daniels, continuity at coordinator, big playmakers on both sides of the ball like Harold Perkins on defense and Malik Neighbors at receiver on offense. So LSU is absolutely capable of making the college football playoff. The difficult part, as always, is escaping from the SEC, especially the SEC West, with fewer than 2 losses, especially when Georgia's going to be waiting for you there in Atlanta at the end. And so that's my hang-up with these SEC West teams, particularly Alabama and LSU, is like, does the attrition get to you and wear on you over the course of this season? Because we just know how difficult that SEC West is every week. And then the Georgia roadblock is a real thing there at the end. So, I mean, Georgia's a lock. But for LSU to get there, golly, they are going to have to be firing on all cylinders right out of the gate. I mean, especially with that Florida State game in week 1. So, I mean, you want to picture an idea or an elimination game. How about that? An elimination game in week 1. We've got it this year. LSU versus Florida State. That is a CFP elimination game in week 1.
David, I've heard you say Georgia's name a lot now. I mean, I feel like I've counted it like 15 times at this point. Maybe that's an exaggeration a little bit. But I haven't heard you mention the University of Tennessee yet. And over the last few weeks, I've noticed that, even though I'm sure you love your alma mater and you bleed orange, you seem to be, digging your heel in. Digging your heel in. I didn't go to Tennessee, but I feel like I built up some cachet as captain of the Vol Navy.
Ooh.
Tread lightly here because I have a lot of sway with the fan base. How do you predict Tennessee's football season goes?
And by the way, I would love to see the conversations that you two guys have behind the scenes, because Jay is like this critic of Memphis, and then Bryant's like Mr. Tigers.
Yeah,
so,
proud graduate.
Well, maybe it's probably not appropriate for over the air, but maybe y'all should do a Twitch live or something where you just talk about the Tigers someday. But
point counterpoint.
That's right. A little debate.
Yeah, I'd pay to watch that. But no, Tennessee, man. The question, of course, that I think is obvious, that it all comes down to for the Volunteers is quarterback, and that's sort of an easy fallback talking point for a team. But that position in Tennessee's system is so incredibly important. Everything that Josh Heupel does revolves around quarterback play, and we've seen Joe Milton lose a starting job twice in his career. Mm-hmm. And now we're just supposed to assume that at this late stage in his career that he's suddenly figured it all out. I just can't get there. I just can't get there immediately. Now, he's going to have a couple of easy games out of the chute with Virginia and Austin Peay to ramp up, but people right now are just circling at Florida as a win for Tennessee. That's insane. Tennessee, in the swamp, it's a house of horrors for them. So to just assume that Tennessee goes to Florida in week 3 and comes out of there with an easy 14-point victory, that's to me, I just can't get there. And maybe that's historical bias playing an influence on me, and just having seen and attended and covered so many of those Tennessee losses in Gainesville over the years. But I just can't assume that's a win. And when you look at a Vegas win total of 9.5 for the Volunteers, there's an assumption in there that they win at Florida. So to me, there are hurdles to get through, in the first month of the season that I don't know that we're totally wrapping our mind around when you talk about South Carolina. You also talk about UTSA, who I have winning the AAC. People are thinking Virginia's the marquee non-conference game for Tennessee this year. It's not. It's UTSA. UTSA, if they played Virginia, would win by 3 touchdowns. So the fact is, there's just some sneaky tough situations here on Tennessee's schedule that lead me to believe that they might drop a game or two more than the odds makers predict.
Yeah. Well, I know Jay Morgan has mentioned that you've mentioned the name Georgia a lot, but I want to bring them back up because Carson Beck officially announced the starting quarterback for the Dogs. And I'm sure for a lot of Georgia fans, they know exactly who Carson Beck is, what to expect from him this year. But for a lot of people nationally and that don't really pay attention to Georgia extremely closely, the name Carson Beck is very new to them because of what Stetson Bennett has been the last 2 years for Georgia. So what should people expect from Carson Beck this year?
Yeah, the only people who have seen him play were the diehard Georgia fans who were still watching in the fourth quarter when they were ahead by 35-plus on whoever they were playing in a given week. And even then, he didn't get to do a whole lot. And now it's going to be a new system, too, because Mike Bobo's in for, at the offense coordinator position. So, exactly what is this Georgia offense going to be is a question. So, if you assess the battle from afar, it wasn't necessarily obvious that Beck was going to be the job. I think for those who have been tuned into that Georgia program, he was clearly the front runner, like you say. But from a pedigree perspective, Brock Vandegrift is actually the more highly touted quarterback on that roster. And they have the same amount of eligibility remaining because Beck has the benefit of the COVID year that Vandegrift doesn't. So even though they're a class apart, Vandegrift and Beck have the same amount of eligibility remaining, and Vandegrift is a more highly touted prospect. So the fact that Carson Beck won the job over somebody who has that 5-star prospect type tells you a lot about what that staff thinks of him. And he's more of the typical game manager than Stetson Bennett was. He's not going to take off and make the spectacular plays with his legs and get outside the pocket as much, throw off platform and all those things. But you don't need anybody to be spectacular for you at Georgia because you got Brock Bowers. You got a stable of running backs. You have probably the best wide receiver group that we've actually seen at Georgia over the last several years. And of course, the defense is going to be really good as usual. So, yeah, Carson Beck, I don't think he's going to be spectacular, but I could see the guy pretty easily surpassing 3,000 yards passing because of the weapons he has around him. So you don't need a Heisman caliber quarterback at Georgia. You need somebody who understands the system and has the trust of the coaches, and Carson Beck clearly does.
David, I want to stay in the East for another question here. I guess while we can stay in the East for the last couple of years until this is done forever. But it might be actually the first time anyone's asked you a question about this school on this show, so I feel very proud to do it. Vanderbilt.
Oh, yeah.
Playing in week 0.
Anchor down.
Very excited about this game. Last year playing Hawaii, they won 63-10, right? So they won by 53 points in Hawaii. And different circumstances, I guess. They have a different quarterback now. Mike Wright is gone. Is Mike Wright worth 53 points? Does Vanderbilt has a chance to lose this game at all, or is this going to be another domination fest?
Yeah, I think Vandy's okay. I think Vandy's okay here in week 0 because Hawaii is still kind of trying to find its footing with a new coaching staff, and it's going to be kind of a letdown when we turn on the TV and see like an under construction Vanderbilt stadium as like our welcome to college football season. That's going to be a little bit of a downer, but it'll whet the appetite at least for week 1, I hope. No, I mean Hawaii's they're going to try to like throw the ball 50 plus times a game and whatnot, and the fact that Vandy went over there 7 times runs away and crushed them by 50 plus points last season, golly, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if Hawaii gives them a game. So, the old adage with Vandy has become like over by October in terms of the win total here, because they get all their easy games out of the chute, and then it's like, all right, we gotta put some hay in the barn early. So I think they'll be ready to go week 0. Clark Lee in year 3 will have Vandy ready to crush Hawaii yet again.
Do you have any opinions about the A.J. Swan kid? I mean, Clark Lee raves about him, and he played a little bit last year too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was good. I'm a little concerned about what he's got around him, though. I mean, they lost their leading rusher, Ray Davis, to Kentucky as a transfer, which, like, that's tough. He's got a really good receiver, the guy they brought to him from the guy that brought with him to SEC Media Days, Will Shepard, who's, I think, maybe a fringe NFL draft pick. So, I mean, that's something they got there. But I think defensively is where, you look for Vandy to kind of take more significant strides this season, because if they can get in a rhythm where they're routinely holding opponents under 30 points a game, that's going to at least give them a shot, because I just don't know that we're ever going to see an ultra explosive Vanderbilt offense. I just don't know in this era if they're going to be able to get the athletes and playmakers in there to light up the scoreboard. So you got to see the defense take a step forward here, and I think they're at least more competitive up front now defensively than they have been so far under Clark Lee.
So when you say that they should take care of Hawaii in week 0, do they take care of them by more than 17 points? That's the line.
Why'd you pick that? Oh, it's the line. Okay.
I'll be honest. I mean, just sitting at 17, or do they not take care of them by that much?
Yeah, I knew where you were going with that. I can't believe the spread's only 17, considering last year's outcome. I mean, I would have to lean Vandy on that, right? I mean, that seems like easy money.
I'm in. I mean, why not?
I would have to agree.
I'm in. Why not? Talking to David Cobb from CBS Sports about some college football. This will not make Jay Morgan happy. I know how he feels about this, but late last week, Auburn announced Peyton Thorne, the starting quarterback, over Robbie Ashford. Jay Morgan, a huge Robbie Ashford guy. Were you surprised about this announcement that the Michigan State transfer would be the starter?
Well, if we zoom out, I'm surprised that it came to this. No, of the options they had available to him in preseason practice, I mean, I'm not surprised that Peyton Thorne won the job. But if you go back to when Hugh Freeze took the job, if you told me that going into week 1, Peyton Thorne would be the best option on the roster, I'd be like, what are we doing here? I mean, Hugh Freeze is a certified quarterback whisperer who plays in a fun system that should attract quarterbacks. And I know they tried to bring on Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina, but be it due to academic reasons or what have you, it didn't work out. So, like, the fact that they ended up in this situation where Peyton Thorne seems like the best option is surprising to me. I think the quarterback haul in the SEC as a whole is kind of underwhelming. I mean, you look at Auburn landing with Thorne, and then you go and look at Florida, Graham Mertz, man. Yeah. Come on. Like, these Mertz and Thorne have both started a ton of games in the Big Ten, but they weren't great. I mean, they were average. Mm-hmm. So the fact that, like, these new, Billy Napier in his second year at Florida, but Napier and Freeze are relying on these veteran, very average former Big Ten quarterbacks to jumpstart their programs. That does not inspire confidence to me. So I know Auburn's become kind of this trendy pick, oh, Hugh Freeze will get them there, and obviously first-year coaches historically have done really well at Auburn right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I just look at this roster, and I don't understand how they get to that point in year one under Hugh Freeze. Long-term, I think he's great. Short-term, I think it's going to be painful.
David, I want to ask you one more SC question because I want to ask you about the Big 12 too. I'm all in on this Big 12 stuff. But and this might be a hard question too, so I apologize. Of your perception of what the fan base of each school in the SEC, what their expectations are of the fan base, which fan base do you think of the end of the season, based on what you predict, will be the most disappointed?
Yeah, I think Alabama.
Wow.
I've got them as the most overrated team in our SEC picks later this week, and they might be my most overrated team nationally. You're talking about I've hit these talking points, but they're worth repeating. You lose two of the top three NFL draft picks from the 2023 draft in Bryce Young and Will Anderson. You lose your offensive and defensive coordinators. Now, of course, I know the Alabama fans were ready to be rid of those guys, but nonetheless, you're talking about a lot of turnover in key staff positions in a year where your talent level is down. You're coming off of a season when you didn't even win your division. So the fact that Alabama is top 5 in pretty much every single poll out there right now is kind of surprising to me. The fact that SEC Media Days voters went with the Crimson Tide over LSU in the SEC preseason poll is surprising to me. I think there's an assumption out there that because Nick Saban is the coach and because Alabama has a lot of talent, that they are going, more likely than not to reach the CFP. And I sell that. And I think if we go 3 straight years without Alabama winning a national title, and with Georgia rising to prominence, and with LSU asserting itself in the SEC West, with Texas and Oklahoma now joining the league next season, I think you're going to see the Alabama fans in a difficult, uncomfortable situation here in a few months.
Let me ask. I was going to ask about the Big 12, but no, I had to ask a follow-up to that. That was too good. I had to ask a follow-up to that one now. So do you think some of that is also the do factor of what people – there's no way Nick Saban has a quote-unquote down year 2 years in a row. Does that play a factor, do you think, in why everyone is higher on them than you think they should be?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Alabama is capable of winning the SEC West. Alabama is capable of reaching the college football playoff, and depending on how good their quarterback, whoever that may be, turns out to be, they're probably good enough to win the national title. I just don't think that any of those things are given or safe assumptions right now, and that's bizarre to people. People aren't used to living in a world. Twitter wasn't even invented the last time Alabama was not relevant nationally. Now it's called X, and it's run by Elon Musk. So anyway, it's just hard for people to grasp or wrap their minds around Alabama not being the singular dominant alpha in college football. That's Georgia right now. If you're asking me to name the best coach of all time, it's still Nick Saban. But the best coach of right now is Kirby Smart. And so I'm not saying that Saban's lost it or that Alabama's going down the tube. They're still going to be really, really good. Yeah. I just don't think that they're by any means a lock to make the CFP.
Wow. I know Jay Morgan brought up the Big 12, but I'm curious of what you think about this state of Iowa gambling investigation, especially with Iowa State. I know the starting running back was involved in it. They found that he had wagered on some Iowa State games, including games he played in. Quarterback Deckers had wagered on a few Iowa State football games. I think there was a third or fourth player also with Iowa State that were wagering on games they participated in. Obviously, this is a bad look, but how bad do you think this gets for Iowa State? Do you think it's just something that we kind of talk about in the offseason, or do you think this could become a very big and bad situation for Iowa State?
Well, it is a bad situation for Iowa State because Hunter Deckers is their starting quarterback, and the other options are freshmen who have no experience. And you obviously play your biggest game of the season, your arch rival Iowa, in week 2, and that's a game Iowa State won last year. So Iowa already has that desire for revenge, and now you throw in the fact that Iowa State, I think, is likely going to be playing a freshman quarterback in that game. It's one of the reasons why I'm high on Iowa to surpass their preseason win total of 8.5, is because I think they get that Iowa State game back this year because of this whole thing. My other sort of speculation on the whole Iowa college sports betting scandal is, man, how zealous is that gaming commission in Iowa?
Man.
Because for a state politician or bureaucrat to come after the college athletes in that state,
oh yeah,
I mean, you're talking about becoming really unpopular as a politician or as a government official or whatever level of governmental or quasi-governmental agency that is. You're really putting yourself out there when you go after some of the biggest names in the state. In a state that doesn't have NFL, NBA, MLB, Iowa and Iowa State football players, they are the big dogs in that state. And it makes you wonder, like, this can't be the only state where college athletes are gambling on their own game.
Right.
One, you hope this is a warning shot to those around the country, because you're probably going to see some guys permanently lose their eligibility with the NCAA. And then two, you wonder, like, how many states out there have their gaming commissions heard about something like this and chosen not to investigate it because of where it could lead? I mean, I'm just speculating on that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things we gotta really think hard about how we educate college athletes in this proliferation of gambling that we're seeing in our society. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but there's got to be some guardrails there, right? Like, I don't know. So the college athletes getting caught up in it's not surprising, but it's going to have a real impact on the field, especially for Iowa State with their quarterback this year.
Well, that's a good point, especially when you kind of bring in the fact that for these politicians, I mean, if they make a decision like this to look into it, I mean, it doesn't matter politics, what side you're on. I mean, that can make a lot of people upset when you start investigating those student athletes and those star players. So that is very interesting. Last thing for you, I do want to get in a quick college basketball question here, even though I know we're all extremely excited for the start of college football. You wrote a story on CBS Sports talking about your winners and losers for the college basketball offseason. I know Florida Atlantic, the lone American Athletic Conference team on there as a winner. How close were the Tigers to being a winner? And what would a DeAndre Williams announcement make? Would that put
changes
them on
everything,
the
David.
Yeah, how much would that change?
You just answered it, Brian. If DeAndre Williams is eligible, then Memphis is a winner of the offseason. And I knew this was coming. I knew I was going to get it from somebody for not having Memphis on here as a winner from college basketball's offseason. They were close. I thought about them. I mean, their transfer class is rated among the best in the country at a lot of different places now. I like what he's built. They lost a lot as well.
They did.
And now we got to figure out what's going on with DeAndre. And if they get DeAndre, then I think they're clearly a winner. If they don't, they're still, I think, an NCAA tournament team. It's just a lot of moving parts. I love the idea of having that continuity with DeAndre Williams. If they don't have that, it makes me a little more nervous about all the new faces blending together.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we get an answer one way or the other here shortly, and we'll kind of have some sort of clearance on DeAndre. But, David, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
All right, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
David Cobb from CBS Sports joining us every Monday afternoon to talk some college football and college basketball. We need to get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more of some college football.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo, Saturday, August 26, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications, performing basic testing, and interviewing candidates on site. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. Salary starting at $60,700. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything! A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
Memphis' oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed 1 person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
Coletta's, now celebrating 100 years of Memphis' best Italian food.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
2 great locations for the commissary. The new Collierville Commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar, or the original in Germantown where it all began for Walker Taylor and his great team in 1981. The Collierville location, perfect for a big group, plenty of room to spread out. And when the weather is nice, to get out on the patio. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs that scream the Memphis slow-cooked way, the Memphis style. Begin your barbecue feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales, the smoked chicken wings, or the barbecue nachos, invented at the Germantown Commissary in the early 80s. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich. All the sides, beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. And the salads and the chicken plate and those wonderful, as I mentioned, hot tamales dressed with chili cheese and fresh onions, and the desserts like the lemon icebox pie, the banana pudding, and the strawberry cake. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. Those great party areas, orders to go, catering, and tailgating season on the way. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Welcome back into Sports Time, and we just got done talking a lot of college football with David Cobb from CBS Sports. And so if you're keeping track, David said he likes Vanderbilt minus 17 this weekend.
And he basically told you to take the Tennessee under win total.
He did.
He essentially did.
He did.
If it's set at 9.5, which I believe it is,
I think it is too.
9 is probably, I would say, the most likely.
Mm-hmm.
And 8 is more likely than 10.
He also said he likes the Iowa win total.
Exactly.
So a lot of good stuff from David today. But I want to come back to Tennessee because I saw something that I thought was kind of interesting, and it kind of ties right into that. And and I'm not going to be able to I'll find it later. But also last week, Rob Fisher, when he joined us, he said he likes whoever USC is playing this weekend. San Jose State, maybe?
Sure.
He likes them plus the 30. So that's 2 picks for you this weekend.
USC at week 0 game.
Yeah, and we won't be able to watch it because it's on Pac-12 Network.
I have Pac-12 Network.
Do you own what, Fubo?
And Fubo.
Fubo.
And Sling.
It's on
both.
I didn't know that. Lucky guy. So
it's not luck. They're readily available to everybody that'll pay for them.
Well, I'm not paying for them, so lucky you.
So it's not luck then.
Okay, goody you. Good for you.
There you go.
Tennessee win
That's
total.
The condescension we're looking at.
Right now, sat at 9.5. The over is plus 155. The under is minus 180. So a lot of people on the under for Tennessee this year.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Neither did I. I expected it to be the other way.
Well, because I feel like a lot.
We're late to the party though. It's almost September. We can't be taking win totals August 21st. I feel like
it's too late. You do that in July. But it feels like I know Brett's extremely.
Well, you don't have as good a gauge in July, Bryant.
So August. Well, like early August, right when all the media days are over, then you start getting those win totals. But I don't know if I would do it right after media days because it's a lot of excitement at media days. I fall in love with teams at media days.
I took an over 8.5 Miami win total last year during media days, and they got nowhere close to it.
You got locked in with all the love. But Brett always talks about how good he thinks Tennessee is going to be this year. I've heard some of our other guests
I agree with David.
Talk about Tennessee being really good this year.
David made a great point.
Well,
David's point is I feel like David's point is unarguable.
Yes.
I have not seen Davis Mills.
Joe Milton.
I have not seen Joe Milton play good football yet. So why in the world, if I'm David talking, am I in the minority when it comes to how I feel about Joe Milton not being sold on his ability? Why are the minority of people not sold? That doesn't make sense. He hasn't played any good football. We've seen him get missed. We're going to see him lose a starting job twice at 2 different schools.
So do you think this fascination for Tennessee, because it's not just Brett, it's not just some of our guests, there's a lot of people that think Tennessee could be really, really good this year. Do you think that's from what Joe Milton did last year in the bowl game against Clemson, or do you think it's just this offense that Heupel has brought in and has been electric the last 2 or 3 years?
I think everyone's sold on Heupel's offense as they should be. He's a genius. He clearly recruits well, and he runs an offense that college kids just can't play. If you play fast enough on offense, the defense is going to get confused because they're idiots. They're kids. They don't know football well enough to be able to manage what the offense is doing on the fly. It's like a cheat. It's not even it's like it's just it's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of like in AAU basketball honestly, at the highest, like all the way up to as long as you can play it.
Yeah.
A lot of teams will just press the whole game, all out deny, trap press, because they know that their athletes are bigger, faster, and stronger than their opponent's athletes, and we can exploit that by doing that. You are not getting your players any better at basketball. That's not here nor there. They might be getting a lot better at football this way. I don't know anything about football. The point is people really like them because the coach schemes really well. The other side is I think it's just an oversight about Joe Milton. They were really good last year.
Yeah.
And, you think they're going to build on that because they have been building on that. It's the same coach. You think, you bring in another quarterback. But I think it's just a simple oversight to what Joe Milton has been largely in his career. And I hate saying it's a career, too, because like I'm just saying, these kids are too dumb to be able to maneuver on the fly and guard and play good defense against how fast the offense is moving. Joe Milton has probably matured a lot as a person over his college career to where he might not make the same mistakes, both physically on the field with interceptions and mentally to get to that physical interception on the field. He might have matured in so many different ways that we aren't privy to, and maybe that bowl game is incredibly indicative of that. But what David said, I feel like, is inarguable in that I should not be in the minority when the overwhelming amount of what we've seen of this guy has been far more negative than it's been positive. And so I don't blame Brett for being sold on Tennessee.
Well, it's not just Brett.
I don't blame anybody for being sold on Tennessee, but I like what David said is it shouldn't be the majority sold on Tennessee. Yeah. It should be the minority.
Yeah, no, and I think David,
which it is in the betting market.
It absolutely is. And now I've seen Brett McMurphy today put out his kind of preseason bowl projections. I remember at the golf tournament we were talking about Jerry Palm who joins the morning show a lot, he had put out his preseason bowl prediction. I remember me and Brett off air when Brett saw it, and he was kind of reading through them and seeing where everyone was. I remember him saying, Jerry Palms doesn't even have Tennessee as a New Year's Six bowl game. And now Brett McMurphy, the same way, he doesn't have them as a New Year's Six game. He has them playing in the Citrus Bowl.
Well, maybe it was just the media day media then that was high on Tennessee, because they were, right?
A ton of people
That's
were
what I
high
thought.
on them.
Because now that you're saying all that, I'm like, maybe I made that up.
No, I mean,
but I remember the media day media being really high on Tennessee, and it seems like the betting markets are not indicative of that, and it seems like the national media it doesn't indicate that either.
Yeah, so I mean,
and maybe they go by largely because there's so many things you have to break down.
Sure.
Maybe the betting markets help those guys a little bit more than they.
Well,
should.
and I think another thing, and
not for David because he went to Tennessee,
right? But I think David brought up a good point when kind of about this and how it all kind of shakes out. When I asked him, today they broke down the ACC over on CBS Sports, and he has Clemson not only finishing ahead of Florida State, but he has them going to the college football playoffs.
CFP.
And I asked him, who are your other three teams going to the college football playoffs? He couldn't divulge them. He's got to turn them in.
Georgia's one of them.
He did say Georgia was one of them. But he said there's probably...
Sounds like LSU might be one of them.
Could be. But he said there's probably 10 to 11 schools that could make a run this year for the college football playoffs. And so, I mean, especially when you're making bowl projections, when there's that many teams that are going to be, up there, it's hard. I mean, you can't put all of them in New Year's Six games. So
I wanted to know how competitive he thought Clemson would be with like the Georgias of the world and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he seemed to think they would be fairly competitive. I guess it would lead the same question: how competitive do you think Florida State could be with the Georgias of the world? And my guess would be not very for either. But not a lot of teams are very competitive with Georgia. So maybe that's not a good gauge for how good a team is. Because you could beat Michigan.
Sure.
You could beat – who else could you beat?
Ohio State.
Could you?
I don't know. But, I mean, in that same aspect, could you beat Michigan?
Last year, TCU did beat Michigan, though, right?
No, they did, but I think Michigan's going to be better this year.
Really?
I think so.
Because they got the kid that could win the Heisman.
Blake Corum.
Cade McNamara.
Oh. I thought you were talking about the running back.
Oh.
You're talking about the quarterback.
And the quarterback. Blake Corum's really, really good.
Blake Corum is really good.
Mine was more of a joke. Yours was serious football analysis.
Yes.
I do think Cade McNamara's got the goods, dude.
Yeah, no,
he's got the goods.
You were high on him. Was that who you were high on last year?
Yeah, it was the first game of
Michigan.
Yeah. It was the first game of the year.
And they were splitting reps that game.
That's right. My friend Nicholas, big Michigan fan. He told me he was like, I think it was the first Michigan game of the year, and he's oh man, I've been seeing clips of this guy on the internet. Everyone's talking about him. He's the real deal, and I go, oh yeah, he is. Heisman. That's in his future. You can't spell Heisman without Cade McNamara. And I started the Heisman push then, and I'm excited to see what he can be this year.
If I remember correctly, I was up here working, and I just get a text message from you saying, you've got to turn on this Michigan game. This quarterback for Michigan is unbelievable. He's going to win the Heisman.
Chooch, man. He got to
yada, yada.
Oh, Cade McNamara's got to chooch. I'm telling you right now, he's got to chooch. On time, on target. He threw a dime in that game I was watching. I can't remember who the opponent was. I tell you what, man. That first 3-4 weeks of the football season, college football season, maybe 3 weeks of the college football season, boy howdy. I'm locked in, man. I mean, I'm watching games in every window, morning, noon, night.
So for those who don't know about Jay Morgan and his computing skills, you will pull up like 13 to 15 games on your screen.
We'll watch all of them
and have them all going on at the same time. I don't know how you do it. I can only fit like 4 or 5 on my screen.
And I'll take notes. Yeah. Like, I'll just one sentence, like anything that pops out. Like for instance, Cade McNamara's got a chooch. Mm-hmm. That would be a sentence I would write down.
Locked into your mind.
And now it's locked in forever.
Yeah.
I'll say it on the radio for
years
to come. Colorado State.
Mm-hmm. Beating 51-7.
Cade McNamara, future Heisman winner. Mm-hmm. Lock it down. That had to be a note last year. At one point, that was a note I wrote down. I'm telling you right now. And notes are flowing early in the year. Then as the year goes on, I get a little bored by it. We're talking about it every day, all week long.
NFL's
and NFL's going. I'm an NFL guy, so I get a little bored after like week 3 or 4. And then I'll watch what, Brian? Like maybe like one window. So you got like the 11 o'clock window, and then you're like 2:30, 3 o'clock is another window, and then prime time 6, 7 o'clock is a window, and then late night. We'll go through late night another one.
So about 4 or 5 windows there.
After about week 4, I'll probably sit down and watch like one full window,
Like
you
the
know,
2:30
and I'll be like,
window.
all right. That was good for the day. That was enough for the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I watched football today.
That'll be kind of how it goes after a while. No knock on anybody. I'll probably watch all the Tennessee games because I bleed orange.
Yeah,
GBO.
I'm excited this year.
And the Tigers. I'm excited to watch the Tigers.
I feel like I'll be able to watch more football this year. I won't be covering the Tigers this year, so I'll be able to feel like watch more games, which I'm kind of excited about this year.
And you love college football.
I do love college football.
And you hate the NFL.
Never said that. You've put that in my mouth. But
you're watching the NFL right now.
Yeah, we got the Bears and the Colts right now. Bears.
Anthony Richardson didn't play in this game.
That's right.
He played in other games, though. I don't know if you heard. He played in week 1.
But he didn't play in
this
game.
one, though.
Yeah, no, they showed him. He was wearing his visor and everything. I don't want to spoil it, but it's 17-7 right now.
Well, the game already happened.
In the fourth quarter. So anybody who's watching it.
Isn't that interesting that nowadays, so you used to not be able to spoil games, right? Like, don't tell me what happened. I taped it. I
recorded it.
But nowadays, that's kind of going out the window, right? No one has an expectation to be like, don't tell me the score. I taped it.
I still know a couple people who tape games.
Well, and people will tell you don't. I mean, I tape games, but I have no.
Right.
I'm not like, don't tell me the score. It's impossible to not know the score, so I don't even try. And I would say that's probably most people's attitude. Whereas movies and stuff like that, even if they're old movies,
you can't spoil
people still freak out if you don't say like spoiler alert.
But
after a game is over, you could tell God and everybody what the score was.
Well, I think part of that is now. I mean, with phones and notifications.
No,
from all
watch
these
the
apps.
damn show. I don't like this double standard. I was like, I don't like watching live shows with commercials.
Was that that felt poignant to me?
Generic millennial Gen Z person.
I feel like that was.
I can't watch things with commercials, but you watch sports with commercials, or if you don't watch sports, some people don't watch
sports.
sports.
I got a remote. I flip to other games during the
Well,
commercials.
just I would say just get over it and watch it live. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you what happened. You live and learn.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a rude?
Well, I
way to
don't know
live,
if
maybe.
that's necessary. I mean, a lot of people I know, they record games because they're like at other games. Like if they're going to a Tigers game, they'll record like their team and whatever, and then they'll go watch it later.
How long? Okay, let's say there's a movie that came out.
Touchdown Indianapolis.
Wow. Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Let's say there's a movie that came out in like 1998 that you really want to see.
Sure.
You've never seen it, but it came out in 1998. So that's 15 or 25 years ago now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I spoiled it for you and didn't say spoiler alert. Would you be upset?
I wouldn't, but I know there's people out there that would be.
Do you think you have a right to be upset?
No, it
came out 25
years
ago.
I mean,
what if it came out 1 year ago and I spoil it? And you haven't gotten around to seeing it yet?
I think
1 year goes too close?
I think a year is the window. I think if it's been out for
Over a year,
you've got plenty of time to see it at that point. If you haven't seen it in a year and you want to see it that bad, that's on you. I'm sorry. But I don't want you coming in here and being like, hey, here's the spoiler to Barbie or something that's out right now in theaters.
Well, if you do that, you have to make it a precursor. You have to be like, hey, if you don't want to hear spoilers,
Turn
tune another
your
way.
radio down.
I'll count down to from
Right.
5.
Yeah.
Here we go. 5, and then you start talking
and then
about
you
whatever
say
you
it.
want.
But
that way everybody's in on it when you start.
But I think once it's been out for a year, I think you've had plenty of opportunity. You have 12 months of opportunity to watch the movie.
I think that would be maybe it wouldn't be fun. This is a production meeting we're having on the air at this point. I think it would be really fun to try and do that on the air. Now, maybe not, because people are tuning in to hear recap from sporting events. So it really wouldn't be fun if one of us went out of our way to not know the score of something.
And how would you do that, though?
I don't know. How would you make it through a day?
What would the segment be?
And it can't just be 2 people, because then if I throw my headphones down or I go, la, 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 I can't hear you. Now you're just talking to yourself. There has to be someone you're talking to. Maybe when Brett's here.
Maybe we'll try that. Maybe we'll tell you not to watch specific games, and we'll see what happens.
If you want to help narrow us down these details, 901-360-8255.
Help with the production.
Help with production.
You can be the guinea pig, Jay Morgan. Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Ooh, touchdown Colts.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
What happens to former real estate agents when they want to sell their homes? This is Sheldon Rosengarten, actually Shell Dunn, with Mark Spensdorf Realtors. I am so proud and feel so honored when former real estate agents contact me when they want to sell their homes. They know that I've been in the business for quite a while, have a great deal of experience, and know that I am good at marketing, not merely putting a sign in the yard and hoping it sells. Over the years, I have developed a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and when. Talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure that I am one of them. So if you or someone you know is thinking about selling a home, remember what other real estate agents who have been in the business do. They call me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or email me at memphisrelocate.com. I will wait to hear from you to take advantage of this good market. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Thank you.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today. Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
So Brett has been wanting to stay involved with
I think you should go first, Bryant.
Okay, I'll go first, and then we can do Brett's.
No, you can finish talking.
Okay, Brett's wanted to stay involved with big number of the day. He didn't really say this was a big number of the day, but he sent it to me, so it's gonna.
And it's a number.
And it's a number, so it's gonna become a big number of the day. It's a happy birthday, Jay Morgan. I know you love wishing people happy birthdays. You love knowing birthdays. Today, happy 104. That's the 104's number. 104th birthday to Sister Jean. You did spoil it.
I knew it.
Like I was spoiling the. That's what I get for spoiling the Colts game in the last segment. But yeah, on this, how about this stat as well?
When Sister Jean was born, the petrified woods were just mildly intimidated.
Good point.
Anyway, go ahead.
On the day Sister Jean was born, Shoeless Joe Jackson went 3 for 5 with 3 RBI for the team that would become the Black Sox. The Cubs beat the Phillies 5-1 in a game that took just 1 hour and 39 minutes.
Wow.
There's more stuff in there. The Bears, the Bulls, and the Blackhawks, because she obviously is very close with Chicago University, Loyola Chicago. Obviously, these are all Chicago things. The Bears, Bulls, and Blackhawks did not exist the year Sister Jean was born. Those are incredible stats.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like a few more Catholic statistics in there.
Well, I don't have any of those.
That's too bad. I mean, that's such a large part of her life.
Don't blame me. Blame Chicago sports on Twitter.
Because sports is not a huge part of her life. I mean, basketball is.
Basketball. She loves
Loyola basketball, but I think God and Catholicism is a large part of her life.
Denzel Valentine's brother is the head coach at Loyola Chicago.
That's right. I never remember his name, though. Greg. No. Starts with a G, right?
Does it?
I don't think so.
I think it starts with a D. I think it's, very close to Denzel.
Interesting.
I could be wrong.
Coach Valentine. That's what I call him. You want my big number? Have you given yours?
No, I was trying to look up what his name. Drew Valentine.
Drew Valentine. That's what I said. That's literally what I said.
That was Drew. Said.
Yeah, play it back. I said Drew.
Drew.
Rewind your radios.
And then you'll know
you said Drew. And then you'll know I said Drew.
My big number today is 18. Over the weekend, the Mariners played some really hot baseball, and a big part of that was Julio Rodriguez.
Hot baseball.
Some hot baseball. But, we've talked a lot about this Mariners team and Julio Rodriguez, who really did not have a good start to the season, really, up until about July.
Can I guess what your big number is going to be?
Please.
27.
No, that's not right.
9.
No, it's also not right.
Dang, I'm out of numbers.
18 is my big number. Julio Rodriguez's 18 hits in the last 5 games are tied for the second most in a 5-game span since at least 1901. He's only behind Jimmy Johnston, who had 19 hits in a 5-game span in 1923.
Wow. Who could forget?
Who could forget old Jimmy J?
Jinx. I thought it was going to be 27 hits over 9 road games for Julio.
No, that's
a
another
great
really
stat,
good
though.
Number.
My stat's a Braves stat. I'm on a string of Braves stats.
I've done a lot of Mariners stats. You've done a lot of Braves
stats. Well,
the
difference is the Braves are the best team in baseball, and the Mariners just recently became relevant.
Might be the hottest team in baseball right now.
Well, that's true,
Mariners.
but they just recently became relevant whatsoever.
That's a good point.
The Braves lead Major League Baseball in slugging percentage this season at .499. That is 40 points higher than the next closest team. That would be the Texas Rangers, who also hit the crap out of the ball.
They do.
Their slugging percentage is .459. That is the largest gap. If that season ended today, it would be the largest gap between first and second in that category since 1953, when the Dodgers had a .474 slugging percentage and the Cardinals had a .424.
That's incredible.
It really is. Unbelievable.
Do the Braves play tonight?
I think so.
I feel like we say this a lot, but might as well bet on the Braves.
Braves play the Mets tonight.
Oh wow! And the Mets just
finished getting lost to the Cardinals yesterday.
Yeah, but that was the only loss of
the 3 out of 1, or 3 out of 4, right?
3 out of 4. That's right, because they played on Thursday. I completely forgot about that. So yeah, maybe bet the Braves early in that game. Mets like to give up runs, so that might not be
a Yerfie. Yeah, probably really good odds on a Yerfie.
You think so?
No.
Let's see what the odds are.
No, I don't.
165 for a Yerfie.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to be good, Bryant.
No, they're not going to be good at all.
Who's on the mound? Drew Peterson. Is that a fellow's name? David Peterson. David Peterson.
Alan Winans?
Nailed it.
Winans?
You nailed it.
Which one is it?
I don't know.
I'm not familiar with him. But yeah, so I think they'll win big. I think they'll score a lot of runs early. Might be a good bet, but that'll do it for our second hour. Let's go ahead, get to a break. When we come back, we'll stick to this topic and talk about everything that happened over the weekend in Major League Baseball.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Hotsy Pressure Washers and Detail Supplies of Memphis takes it all off. They are the #1 cleaning and equipment provider, period. Big or small, Hotsy has the solution. From hot water and cold water pressure washers to industrial soaps and detail supplies, Hotsy has you covered. For our Sports 56 fans, you get 20% off all detail products, so don't miss out on this amazing deal. Call Hotsy today, 901-379-0550, or visit their showroom, conveniently located at Austin P and I-40.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, I want to talk about our seasoning and sauce today. Our sauce is a great blend of sweet, mustard, and vinegar. It's good on so many items other than barbecue. It's good on pizza. People use it in lieu of ketchup. But our seasoning is the original dry rub, created by my father using a mixture of Greek and Cajun spices. People think our sauce and seasoning are good just during the grilling season. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's good year-round. Our seasoning is good on fish, chicken, deviled eggs, corn on the cob, French fries. People even put a dash in a Bloody Mary. To get a complete list of all of our recipes using our products, go to hogsfly.com, click recipes, and you'll see 50 wonderful items and dishes. And Brett, our sauce and seasoning is available at most grocery stores, and if they don't have it, please remind your grocer to stock it. And our slaw is also available at most Kroger stores.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte PE 659,993, MSRP 22,540, Nero P 501,5237, MSRP 41,390, EV6 P 560,3393, MSRP 50,200, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details, offer valid through 9/5/23. Dealer stock only, warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
I got Jeff Allen on the line. Hey, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, we got deals everyone wants. How about 41 MPG Highway, 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, give me some EV scoop.
2023 Nero EV Win, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $292 a month. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Win with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE. Only $425 a month, both $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty to boot.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Purchase a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Conway Services today and get up to $1,750 back plus a free Nest thermostat when Conway Services buys back your old, inefficient HVAC system. Guaranteed service and flexible payment options are great reasons to call Conway Services today. Visit ConwayServices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we start our third and final segment on this Monday
No, it's the last
afternoon.
hour, not our last segment.
Last
boy,
hour.
howdy. I wish it was the last
man.
segment.
You got
You're
me
looking
there.
ahead.
Got me there. I got caught looking ahead. How about that? I think the Colts scored again, so unfortunate for I don't even know who they're playing. Other team fan. Bears.
The Bears.
Unfortunate for Bears fans.
Bear down. Go Bears.
Shouldn't have done that. I knew you were going to start singing. But it was an interesting weekend in Major League Baseball. We've officially hit the point of the season for the Cardinals where it's look ahead to 2024. And you're seeing a lot of guys
That's
from the
official
AAA.
now, by the way, everybody.
It's official now. It wasn't official before the Mason Wynn call-up. Luke and Baker getting a lot of action over the weekend.
You mean before the
Mason Wynn started every game.
You mean before the P. Alonso debacle?
Oh, yeah. We're not going to rehash that one.
I can't.
Oh, man. Very controversial.
Polarizing issue, apparently.
Very
I didn't
polarizing.
realize.
So the Cardinals have hit rock bottom, and they're playing a bunch of young guys, a bunch of minor leaguers. But they did pull out a win yesterday. Mason Wynn had his first 2-hit game after getting his first hit the other night. Was it Friday night? he got that first hit? I think so.
Yeah, that's right. That was Friday.
I think so. But it was a weird hit. I mean, he hits it straight down. It pops way high in the air. Bad play for the third baseman. Mason Wynn's a very fast player, so he was able to beat out the throw to first and records his first hit. So good for Mason Wynn. Very happy for him. But I kind of like seeing all these kind of minor league guys, fringe, quadruple A players. Getting some playing time. I don't know. It's fun. I mean, there hasn't been anything to look forward to this season.
What percentage of the time do you think when I ask you a question simple as why is the answer? I don't know.
I didn't say I don't know. I said it's fun.
Oh, it's fun.
It's fun. I like it. I mean, for the last 3 months, we haven't had anything to care about. This team's been awful. At least I can watch young guys and think about what could be.
Right. I know in the NBA at the end of the year, they generally will give like a G League guy an opportunity to come up, and it's really just like a 10-day contract and just give you the chance to say I played in the NBA.
Well, I know
that seems like that's what this might be, right?
I remember
say you made it to the show.
I remember for the
and get your big old game check.
That's right. For the Grizzlies last year when all the playoffs were locked and there were still like 3 games on the schedule, Kenny Lofton started getting a lot of action, and people got super excited watching those games about what Kenny Lofton. Oh,
that's true too. Even teams that are good, but I really meant more teams that
like
are
the bottom dweller teams. They just kind of throw up some young guys.
You can't be too bottom dweller because those teams will still try down the end of the year because they're trying to build on young talent, and so those games matter to them for some for a different reason.
Kind of those.
It has to be like. Well, I guess a team like generally probably a team that's comfortably in the playoffs. Believe it, I guess you're right about that. No, really, it's not usually bottom teams. It's teams comfortably in the playoffs that'll do that. So maybe it's different in baseball. Clearly, it's different in baseball because that's what the Cardinals are doing.
Cardinals are doing it.
That's cool.
So yeah, no, I like it. I think it's fun to watch. Cardinals back in action tonight against. I don't know who they're playing tonight.
The Pirates.
Pirates. That's right, and another young guy going to be on the mound. For the Cardinals, Drew Rahm, who they acquired.
Not spelled like John Rahm.
No.
It's Rahm like a CD-ROM.
R-O-M. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it'll be fun to see him. I know he's made a couple of appearances here in Memphis. So it'll be fun to watch him tonight.
Fun.
And kind of see this. I'm using fun a lot. I mean, what else can you use?
Well, I agree. Team? I mean, fun.
It was fun.
I'm probably not going to watch it, Brian.
No,
I can't agree. It's going to be fun.
Well, you got to pick Cardinals game or
Monday Night Football.
Ravens game.
Why is it not who are they playing?
The Commanders.
Why is it not the Commanders game?
Because then I'd have to hear you say, "Oh, the Commies."
Oh, the Commies.
Uh-huh.
No, I thought we already settled. I'm the nickname
You asked
guy.
me why, though. I had to give you a reason.
I forgot the team they were playing, so that would have been a good reason too, because you don't even know what team they're playing, but you knew the Ravens were playing.
No, I knew they were playing the Commanders. I just didn't want to hear you say your little catchphrase.
I forgot they were playing the Commanders. What I'm saying.
Yeah,
that would have been a good reason for you.
Oh, I see. So if you had to pick, which one are you watching?
I'm probably not going to watch the baseball game. So if I was to watch anything, it would probably be
Monday Night Football.
Because I'm thinking that game is a game I could gamble
on. You can't gamble on the Cardinals.
Well, you can, but I'm not going to.
Smart. Probably a smart move. Did you catch any of the Little League World Series game last night?
No, Brian. Did you catch any?
No. The Major League Baseball game that
yeah.
I'm not bringing up a Little League World Series game.
No, yeah, I did.
Did you see the Pennsylvania team?
You know what? I'll actually bring up a Little League World Series game because I was watching the game before that game, and I thought it was really cool to see, like, Josiah Gray just sitting on a bus with a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just talking with a bunch of kids. That would be so cool to be in that situation. And even just to be at the game when Bryce Harper and his teammates walk in to just sit down and watch a little bit. Very neat experience to just be on the field and say, holy crap, Bryce Harper is watching me play a baseball game right now.
So, did you see, they talked about in the broadcast, I guess it was earlier that morning, the Pennsylvania team played. And so Bryce Harper and like 3 or 4, maybe more than that, probably like 7 or 8 guys for the Phillies went to that game and like watched and like rooted the Team Pennsylvania team on. I don't know if they ended up winning or not, but I thought that was really cool. I mean, imagine you're like 12 years old playing in this Little League World Series game and you look up in the stands and Bryce Harper is cheering you on to victory.
No, you're right. It's very cool, very cool. Can't overstate how neat that experience must be for those kids.
No, absolutely. So, I saw like last night they had like kids were interviewing Lane Thomas while he was on. They were like asking him questions while he was out in the outfield. Former Cardinal, who me and Brett famously scoffed at you for saying you would love for Lane Thomas to come back.
You ever miss former Cardinals? Like I'm watching Lane Thomas right now. Well, Jay Morgan, I do, but not with Lane Thomas.
But now I kind of do.
Change your tune a little bit, haven't you, Brian?
Anybody. But the Nationals end up winning that game last night against the Phillies. Put up 4 runs, the only 4 runs they scored in the entire game. Put them all up in the first inning. I think the first 4 batters for the Nationals got on base.
And luckily their field is larger than the ones the Little League kids play.
Yes, very much so. Or every bloop fly ball would be a home run.
It's a joke that those kids at that age play on a field that size. That's so dumb.
And they can't lead off.
So dumb.
And
they're way too old to be doing that.
They are. That was always my knock on it growing up and watching the Little League World Series is that this really isn't this isn't baseball. This is, I don't know what it is, but it's
Bush League.
It's Bush League. But no, so it was a fun game last night. And then today, after that win, Davey Martinez gets a 2-year extension.
Deservingly so, quite frankly.
You know what? I was going to say that because
a lot of people hated on him all year.
I hated on him a lot early when he was pulling all shenanigans.
Yeah, it was you.
Crawling on the ground and getting mad or getting ejected by being up 3-0.
The fact that you didn't like that is still abhorrent to me. That was objectively hilarious.
It was hilarious. I wasn't mad at that because when that happened, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. It was when he did it like 2 games later and gets ejected again when they were up 3-0. Is when I got mad.
I recall him getting ejected like that, and then somebody else got ejected against them in a game in a similar ridiculous fashion, and he went out in the interview after the game and said, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What a mockery of the game they just made by getting ejected like that. This is 3 weeks removed from him crawling behind the dugout like it was a grenade.
Was it? I don't remember who it was.
I forgot.
Might have been the Yankees.
Was it? Was it Aaron Boone?
I think it was Aaron Boone.
I don't know, man.
I think so.
Either way.
Because he's gotten thrown out a lot this year.
He has. Yeah, you're probably safe bet saying
so
it's Aaron Boone.
If I'm going to bet, it's probably Aaron Boone. And I feel like I remember, because Aaron Boone, multiple times this year, he's gone out there and, drawn lines in the dirt or, sat down in a catcher's position to, visualize where the pitch was. So, it was probably Aaron Boone.
But this has been one of the hottest teams down the stretch of the season, I think.
I mean, they really have. And when you talk about,
giant killers for real.
Exactly.
And it goes back to what I remember the D-backs doing, 2 years ago, well, I guess I can't say the Reds last year, but the D-backs have been in that position to play giant killer down the stretch of some seasons with some good rosters too, similar to the ones they have now, and I think they've done it. I'm trying to think of other examples, and I just can't think of any off the top of my head, but the Nationals have to be in that boat. They've been sneaky good down the stretch of this year.
And they're really young, like you kind of said with the D-backs. They've got a lot of young players.
And they're playing hard for Davey Martinez. They really are. Lane Thomas is leading off and playing out of his mind right now. These guys are playing.
C.J. Abrams playing really well
Joey
right now.
Meneses is playing really well, so they're playing out of their mind for this guy, and it seems to me everyone's railing on him. Well, Davey Martinez can't be the manager. He's losing games. Well, why is losing always equated to the manager? They have a young team, and they've clearly progressed over the course of the year. To me, that indicates he's doing a really good job at coaching baseball, and isn't that what we're hiring these guys for? So I think he deserves a 2-year extension.
Yeah, no, especially
forget the win and loss record.
Right, and when you look at a young team like this, after with Bryce Harper and Juan Soto, they kind of blew the team up with those two guys and other guys from kind of those World Series teams, and so it's been a very young team. You're kind of just now starting to see a lot of those players kind of get to that level of major league ready. Even C.J. Abrams that played a lot for Washington last year, you could just tell watching him he wasn't really ready yet for Major League Baseball, but now he's really hitting his stride. So when you look at this young team, kind of like you said about the Diamondbacks, if you watch this team at the beginning of the season this year, they are a completely different team than they are right now. They're playing. They're a much better team. They're continuing to play hard, even though they're nowhere close to the wild card or to a playoff shot. And so, I mean, you've got a young team. You've got a young rotation with some guys that have really stepped up. You're big on Josiah Gray. I really like Mackenzie Gore.
You love that guy.
I love Mackenzie Gore. So, I mean, they've got young guys that are really playing hard. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's extremely well-deserved for Davey Martinez.
Yeah, and I think that's something that even critics of his have – I guess you just said you were a critic of his early in the season. So, yeah, I think more than just you, a lot of critics of his, I think, have come around on what he's done, especially with the way the Nationals have played down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, playing much better. I also saw over the weekend, and even today, we've had some more call-ups, not to Major League Baseball, but to kind of lower levels that I think people kind of care about. Yesterday, Dylan Cruz, who just won a College World Series for LSU, got promoted to Double-A. We need to apologize to John Harden because Paul Skeens also got called up to Double-A today after making 2 starts in Single-A.
We need to apologize?
I need to apologize because I was the one saying Paul Skeens has
vehemently behind me. You have to tell him.
I didn't say that. I have never said to you, you have to tell him something. I just try to help out when I can. And I hadn't seen the news that
you
Paul
just
Skeens
want
had been
to make
called up.
sure that we disseminate accurate information over the airways, and I could give a crap.
Care less.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't matter to you. No, but yeah, so Paul Skeens just got the call up, it looks like, today to Double-A. So both those guys progressing extremely fast through the organizations. Both those guys, I assume, will finish off the years in Double-A, and we'll see where they start next year. But also the really interesting one, Ethan Salas, the 17-year-old who made his professional debut at 16 years old. I think he just had a birthday. He's been promoted. Happy birthday, Dylan Salas. He just got promoted to Double-A. So a really young guy that, you know, here in a couple years, I mean, we could see this guy at 19 or 20 years old, you know, making his major league debut, which would be incredible if we did.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It really would be. It would be incredible if he makes the Major League debut at such a young age like that. But you have to imagine that this call-up for him might also be something similar like we're talking about is happening at the Major League level.
Oh, absolutely.
This just gets you some burn here at the end of the season.
We're not playing for anything. Maybe we somebody got sent up from AAA. Now we got to send somebody up from Double-A.
Could be like a mental
Let's just
thing.
give you a look.
Yeah, like just like a little mental thing to say, like, I made it to this level this year.
And also, let's see how you're a 17-year-old playing Double-A. Let's see how you react to it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of adversity there. I don't think you're going to step right into Double-A baseball and as a 17-year-old and immediately hit, 300. So, I'm sure there's a lot
What
of...
if he did, though?
That'd be great.
That'd be something.
We'd be talking about him starting Double-A and maybe progressing to AAA next year.
Who's the guy that was killing it when he got promoted to Double-A? They sent like 350 or something
that was that... that
was this kid.
Dalton Shanuel.
Oh, Shanuel.
He's the one that got drafted and then was in like Single-A, hit like 850, then got promoted to Double-A, was hitting like 450 through like 6 games.
It's possible to keep track with all these.
A lot of young guys.
All these guys.
A lot of young guys. But no, really cool to see Ethan Salas getting up to Double-A, and also for Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens,
For sure.
them progressing extremely fast in their organizations is cool to watch. And I think, Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, being in the Nationals, being in that system, we could very well be talking about him in a couple years, being with this Nationals group in the outfield.
Sounds like that was a cheap shot at the Nationals, Bryant.
No, it wasn't. He's a
cheap shot.
He's the number 2 pick in the draft.
Oh, and you think they just got a bunch of bums up there playing? Isn't that what you're
said
saying?
A couple years. Who knows
just a
what
bunch
happens
of
to his
bums in
roster
front of
by
them,
then.
isn't it?
No, I just think you got a really good player in Dylan Cruz. Paul Skeens, you never know. He could be in the rotation in a year or so as well.
Oh, what are you saying, Bryant?
Pirates pitching rotation's trash. It's
but you're not
awful.
saying that about the Nationals.
No.
But about the Pirates.
They're trash.
Oh.
Just the pitching rotation.
I see.
They got some fine fielders.
All due respect to Andrew McCutchen, legend of the game. Probably a Hall of Famer.
But I wasn't talking about him. I was
right,
talking about
exactly.
the pitching
That's
rotation.
what I'm saying. I'm trying to make sure people hear you.
The pitching rotation is terrible. Everything else,
I'm helping you, brother.
I appreciate you more than you know.
We're going to talk about college. Oh no, you said baseball here. I was going to say we're going to talk about college football here, but no, you're right on track, brother. Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead, keep going.
A little late in the segment to be.
Well, I thought I was trying to save it for the very end, and right as I verbalized, like I have been, truth be told,
this whole time.
So sometimes I'll think of something like early in a segment, and I like to punctuate the ends of segments, with something that like really gets us into break that might leave you, the listener, wanting to come back the next segment. Some people do like teases. When we come back, we're going to talk about this. I don't really like doing that. So I like to do something that makes you say, punctuate the segment. Say, that was really good. I want to listen to the next one. Okay? So what I was trying to do there is I thought it would be really funny if I brought up at the end of the segment the thing Bryant said we were going to talk about. We went 20 minutes and didn't talk about it. And then right as I verbalized that joke, I realized, oh no, he teased we would talk about baseball here. We talked about exactly what he said we were going to talk about. And now I'm the idiot.
Good job for me.
Back after this.
Back after this.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey folks, Ryan McElroy here with Sunrise Buick GMC. I know the temps are going up, but the prices are dropping here at the Sunrise Super Summer Sale. Huge selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Discounts up to $6,500 and a $12 million used car inventory. If you're not 100% happy with your car, don't pay another penny on it. Top dollar for trade-ins, or we'll just buy it from you. Bad credit, slow pay, bankruptcy, it's okay at Sunrise. Call, click, or come on in to any of the 3 Sunrise locations here in town. Covenant Pike, Wolf Chase, or Carnival, come check us out at sunrisememphis.com. We make it fun to buy a car.
I can't wait for what's next, even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
A little summer drive adventure is all yours in one of the hot new all-star Chevys. Olive Branch is where all the Chevys are. Silverados for sure. They have financing as low as 1.9 on most of the new Silverados, and your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star. Trail Boss, High Country, and you can see Kevin or Jeff to order any custom Silverado or any new Chevy you want. Drive one of these Tahoes or Equinox. That'll be a sweet last summer drive for any adventure. If you want a certified pre-owned Chevy or any pre-owned, All-Star's loaded up with Silverados, Corvette Stingrays. And if it's not at All-Star, just ask Jeff and he'll find it for you. And Jeff and Kevin told me to thank all of you. Brought your cars, your trucks, your SUVs to All-Star to sell. Thank you to everyone who've been bringing their cars and trucks down to All-Star to sell. You can even get a check for some crazy great cash today. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Bartlett or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we get to what's trending. We just had some breaking news in the National Football League. The Colts and Jonathan Taylor have been kind of going back and forth all offseason and really into training camp trying to get him a contract extension. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor has been looking for one all offseason, didn't get one before training camp, decided to sit out of training camp, at least to start. We remember the Jim Irsay quotes early in training camp where he said, if I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor is out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. We know that the National Football League rolls on. Well, today, just about 30 minutes or so ago, the Colts have given Jonathan Taylor the okay to seek a trade. So it looks like Jonathan Taylor will be looking to get out of Indianapolis and find a new team. It looks like the Colts are asking for a first-round draft pick or multiple draft picks that would be the equivalent of a first-round pick in return for the running back. But I mean, I think you could probably assume that we were going to get to this point eventually. But interesting to see that you know we talked about Anthony Richardson earlier, but he might not have that safety blanket of Jonathan Taylor. At least,
well, he's never known what that would be like. So.
That's true, but it's good to have as
you don't miss what you don't have
as a rookie quarterback.
Well, he doesn't have him though.
It's true, but he could have. I mean,
he could have.
You might be thinking forward, going, "All right, man, I got."
So, do you know who the first string running back is on the team now?
No, I do not.
Do you have question 2? Do you have any teams off the top of your head that you think would be a good fit for Jonathan Taylor?
Like 90% of the league.
Really?
Jonathan Taylor's an incredible athlete. I mean, I
understand, but there's certain things that have to, like the Titans can't take on Jonathan Taylor.
Well, the Titans
who can afford to give up those picks and also could use that running
let's
back.
See. Well, how about we start with teams that definitely wouldn't? Titans definitely wouldn't. Falcons wouldn't.
Zach Moss, Evan Hull, Kenyon Drake.
I like Kenyon Drake, but he's
Jake
not the
Funk.
runner he used to. Not the runner he used to be.
Deion Jackson and Jason Huntley.
It's not a great running back room.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
But you know, I don't know.
I don't think anyone has any expectations for this team.
I was about to say I don't think this team's going to be very good, and I don't think they really expect to be very good this year. I think this is building. Obviously, if you trade Jonathan Taylor, you're going to get some first-round picks in return, and you can kind of build. You have I guess what you think is going to be your
There's some good defensive players in the front seven, though. I'll tell you.
No, they absolutely do. But, I mean, you have your quarterback of the future that you just drafted in the first round. So, I mean, build up, have another good draft, and then maybe next year you start looking to make some noise.
Yeah, I mean, that's largely dependent on how good Anthony Richardson is, though, isn't it? And
yeah,
whether or not
Gardy
Party is going to be take that spot pretty soon, which I hope he does. But your boy James Washington that you said you really liked is on the Colts, right?
No.
That's not the guy
Parker
you're talking
Washington.
about. Parker Washington.
Parker Washington. He's with
I see
Jaguars.
a James Washington here. I remember we said a Washington. So I was taking
Parker
a shot.
Washington.
James Washington went to Oklahoma State or something like that, right? Yeah, sure did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
How about the Dolphins?
How about them?
As a trade partner.
Oh. No. They've got a deep. I think they've got a deep running back room, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they were just in the market for a running back a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you're right. They were trying, but that's different. They were trying to sign what's his name?
What's his name?
I don't remember. Do you?
No, I can't remember now.
Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson. Okay, no, they could use a running back.
They could use running back. I don't think.
I don't think they have any first-round picks, though. I think they've traded them all, right? I'll look that up next.
I don't know.
Here
Look
we go.
that up. But I mean, it was Dalvin Cook they were going after, and then Dalvin Cook signed with the Jets. And I know a lot of people link them together because he's from Miami, but I don't think that's the only reason they were going after him. I think they just need a running back. They could use one. I mean, that offense is electric, and if you had a big-time running back, I don't know if they can take on his contract, but
Their upcoming 5th-round pick was turned into Jeff Wilson. It looks like they have a first-round pick. I don't like trading a first-round pick, though, but I guess you do a few picks together. Or maybe that's... Okay, 2024, they have a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick, and a 7th-round pick. So they don't have a 3rd or a 4th. So that would make it more difficult to trade for that unless you're willing to give up a first-round pick, which there's no way in hell anyone's going to give them the first-round pick. There's just no way. I don't think so. Those are the perception of that value, I think, in the NFL is just too much to trade it for a running back.
Yeah, I don't think there's
maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think
see
there's
what
a ton of
Jonathan
teams
Taylor's
out there.
contract is like.
Yeah, tell me that. But I mean, when you look, I just don't know how many suitors are out there that are in need for a big time running back right now.
A 4-year, $7 million deal. So it's backloaded. So he's set to make $4 million this year. He makes a $5 million cap hit right now, and he's an unrestricted free agent after the season. Jonathan Taylor is.
Okay. I thought you were saying he's like just starting his 4-year deal. I was like, that can't
no,
be
that's
right.
what he signed to. His first year, he was a $1.5 million cap hit.
Interesting.
Then it was 1.7. Then it was 2.1, and this year is where it's really backloaded to where he makes $5 million this year.
$5 million. Holy cow! Yeah, no. So I don't think the list is going to be very long for potential suitors, and I don't know if anybody is out there that would trade a first-round pick. Or anything that would equate to a first-round pick.
For something that expires after the season. Unless you know that you're winning the Super Bowl.
Or re-sign them.
Like the Rams did that year, right?
That's true.
That's what they did, is they traded everything, and they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And so it paid off in that regard. So you have to know you're winning the Super Bowl. Highest paid running backs in 2023... McCaffrey making 16, Kamara 15, Derrick Henry 12.5, Nick Chubb 12.25, Aaron Jones 11.5, Saquon 10, Tony Pollard 10, Josh Jacobs 10, Miles Sanders 6.4. So 5 would put him like right outside of the top 10.
Wow.
So how many teams are willing to trade a first-round pick to pay a guy $5 million?
That's a good question. I found a list because obviously this isn't the first time we've heard that Jonathan Taylor wants out of the Colts or that he's going to ask for a trade or whatever. So I mean, there are websites out there that have already put together lists in the past. Yeah. So this is from what website is this? SB Nation.
Love their work.
They put a list together. Here are the teams they say could or should go after Jonathan Taylor. Except they said. That they think teams would probably trade multiple day 2 picks, so 2nd, 3rd round picks, which I guess those would, if you got multiple of those, that would equate to a first round pick. The Chicago Bears, the Los Angeles Rams, the Baltimore Ravens, the Miami Dolphins, and the New England Patriots, but I think you can take...
Patriots ain't trading first round.
Yeah, you can take the New England Patriots. And they just signed Ezekiel Elliott, so you can take them off.
I don't think the Dolphins are going to trade first round.
Okay.
I could be wrong, though. The Dolphins are pretty close. Well, I really don't know how close the Dolphins are. I think the Jets are really good, too. So that makes me a little bit concerned about that. I just punted on the word.
That offense was great last year when Tua was healthy. I mean, it was the best. It was one of the best in the National Football League. It was unbelievable.
Their defense struggled, though. Their defense took a step back, and people think it might take another step back this year.
Well, that's not great. But, I mean, if you can put 40 points on your opponent every week, then...
Yeah, what did they score against Baltimore? 60-something?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right. If
it was a bunch of points. I remember that.
They were down by a ton of points. Baltimore scored a lot that game. I don't know what the Rams are dealing with in terms of future picks. I know they find themselves in a certain situation now where they have had trouble reloading with picks because they haven't had any. So you think maybe they could potentially do that unless they have PTSD anymore about trading picks. I don't hate the Bears doing it either.
I don't either.
Because the Bears could probably put something together that would be like what we just said, equates to a first-round pick without giving one up. But you lose Jonathan Taylor after the season. So what would you be doing there? Is signing him and basically selling him that if you decide that you want to spend money on a running back this offseason and you think you can sell him on your program, well, that would be why you would sign him.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be
or trade for him, I mean.
That wouldn't be a trade of, if we get him, we're Super Bowl favorites, or we can make a run at Super Bowl.
You have to change your line of thinking entirely.
Yeah. But, I mean, Khalil Herbert had a really good year for the Bears last year.
So you don't think they're in the market for a running back?
I just don't know. I mean, how do they feel about Khalil Herbert? I know a lot of people are very high on him, especially
seems like a weird
when you
spot
talk fantasy.
To trade for a one-year guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't think there's many.
The Rams is the only one that
there.
makes sense to me.
They have Cam Akers.
But it just makes sense to me because they're willing to just get however many good players they can get right now.
No, absolutely. So no, I think it's going to be was there another team in there?
But then you have to have Stafford stay healthy, otherwise you have no shot anyway.
Yeah,
because they were one of the worst teams in the league last year with no quarterback.
Yeah, and then the other team in there is the Ravens. But I don't.
That's a wild card. I don't know.
That would be a wild card.
I don't know how they operate.
No, I don't either. Gus Edwards, they're starting right now.
You're a Ravens fan and think they should get Jonathan Taylor, 901-360-8255.
Yeah. So I just don't know. I don't think there's a lot of suitors out there, especially that are going to give up as much as what the Colts are going to want in return for Jonathan Taylor. I think, like you said, it's going to have to be a very specific team that thinks that if they can, that's the missing piece, or that they can sell this, they can sell Jonathan Taylor on re-signing or signing an extension. So I just don't think that list is very long. There's also just a ton of teams that have a really good running back that I don't think would be willing to trade and just for 1 year of play. So I don't know. We'll see what happens between the Colts and Jonathan Taylor. But right now, would
the boys be willing to franchise tag Tony Pollard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would they be willing to trade for him and franchise tag Tony Pollard? It's an expiring contract. What difference does it make? $4 more million, $5 more million. I guess not worth a first-round pick, though.
Yeah, I don't think
that's the thing that gets you. Is like I don't care what team you are. I'm not trading a first-round pick unless you're the Rams.
Now, if I could trade like a second round.
I mean, we can't even start to dissect or discuss what could possibly equate to a first-round pick.
Because
that is so hypothetical.
Yeah, it's in the eye of the beholder. I mean,
who knows?
Exactly. I mean, what I think equates to a first-round pick could be entirely different than what you think and what the Colts think. And so, but I don't see anybody trading for him. I really don't.
So what's he do?
I think
shows up.
Either he shows up or he sits out. I mean, one of the two.
I guess those are the two
options. You either say I'm going to wait to be traded, or you say whatever. I'm gonna play football this year.
What do you think he says?
The way things have been going, I wouldn't be surprised if he sits out. I mean, it doesn't sound. Obviously, we had
not a death sentence.
I mean, it's been in the past. So I don't know, but I don't know if these guys look at it like that. I mean,
I just saw Le'Veon Bell post a video on the internet of him saying he wants to be signed, like of him working out, and
he
was
the real death sentence for running backs when it comes to sitting out. I don't know. I mean, I think how old is Jonathan Taylor?
JT.
I feel like he's a little younger than Le'Veon was when Le'Veon sat. But I have no idea. I could be completely wrong. But I don't know. I don't want anybody to sit. I think sitting is a bad idea.
24.
Regardless. Oh yeah, I think he could sit and there'd still be suitors next year. I don't think you'd get as much next year, but I think you could sit out and be signed by somebody.
It's hard to sit out a year of football.
Oh, it is 100%. But just with how everything has gone down from start to finish for a lot of these guys. We were talking about Saquon Barkley earlier, and there were people that would be like, is he going to sit out this year if he doesn't get a deal? And I think we all agreed and said from the start that they're going to get something worked out. They're going to be fine. He's not sitting out for any time.
I tell you what, Jonathan Taylor might be worth a first-round pick.
Jonathan Taylor, this whole situation is just so different. And Jonathan Taylor's a great running back. When he's healthy, he was injured a lot last year.
That would be the only concerning part about him being a first-round pick. But if you were guaranteed of his health, is he for the first-round pick? I'm starting to think maybe yes.
I think so. I mean, he's when he's healthy, he's probably the best running back in the National Football League.
Yeah, rushing yards leader in 2021, right?
Yeah. So I mean, he's unbelievable. He's a great running back. So I mean, I think he's worth it. I just don't know.
And all of the hype around the Colts last year was built upon his success.
Literally, only around him.
Yeah.
So, but I just don't know. It's the 1 year that kind of holds me up. It's the same thing with. I mean, obviously not the same caliber of Shohei Ohtani, but like it's that same conversation of you're going to have him for him it would only be 3 years, but I mean. You're going to have him for 1 year, and then he can just walk. Do you want to take that on? It's
a terrible time to be a running back questioning whether or not you want to sit out, too, because your value is already so low. Mm-hmm. You don't want anything to diminish your own personal value when the value of the position that you play in general is already so low. But it seems like a tough time to sit out. It does. A tough time to be in this situation where you feel like you are being treated, let's say, unfairly by
your team or your organization.
Yeah, they're wasting. I mean, it's tough. You sign a contract, you're drafted by a team or whatever. I get it's tough. But he didn't choose to play for the Colts necessarily.
Right.
He was drafted by them, right?
Yeah, he was drafted by them.
And I guess to a certain extent you sign a contract or whatever. But, maybe he sees things going on around there. He doesn't feel like they're competing at a level that's, I don't know. Because Colts fans would disagree and say that he has an obligation. That's where you get into a tricky perspective discussion of who's right, the player or the fan or the owner or the GM. Everyone else has to go to work. Why does this player not have to go to work? And
and it just this whole situation seems so different than some of the other running backs we've talked about this year or last year from start to finish. I mean, with it's been since the beginning of offseason, since the last game of the season last year for the Colts, they've been in talks about a contract extension. You get to training camp, he's not there, then he's there, he's not participating. He met with Jim Irsay. Immediately after meeting with Jim Irsay, he starts tweeting and saying he wants to leave and wants to be traded. And then you have the comments from Jim Irsay about, basically nobody cares, who you are, you can be replaced. And so, I mean, this whole thing gotten ugly, and it just seems completely different from some of the other situations from players in the National Football League. And so that's why I think
I wonder why you wouldn't want to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I wonder why that wouldn't be the best way to deal with an employee.
Yeah, I wonder why that would.
Well, it's the truth. He can't tell him the truth.
No, it's crazy. But I don't know. This just feels different. I don't usually think players sit out or even want to sit out, but in this situation, I really wouldn't be surprised.
Sticky situation, man. I don't know what the right move is.
It's sticky, that's for sure. Let's get to a break.
A lot of people would say you play.
Oh, no, for sure. But you
just suck it up and play.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I could the way he's been going about training camp.
Marshall Faulk on some bad football teams.
Yeah.
Is that an automatic yes, or do you know that for a fact?
Yeah, no, I know for a fact.
Are you lying?
I might have just doubled down on the yes counter.
All right.
Let's go to a break. When we come back, talking about crunch time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
My friends at Miramichi are always innovative. They've got a new thing going I think you're going to like. They have a staggered rate pertaining to what time of day it is. You can get a better price if you go in the later afternoon than you will in the morning or in the afternoon. From noon to 3, there is a $10 savings. There's about a $13 savings from 3 until close. You can't beat all of the innovations or the beauty at Miramichi. And folks are flocking. No longer can you get a membership. There's a waiting list, but that's how popular Miramichi has become. And why wouldn't it? You've got different levels of competition. You have 5 different tee boxes you can choose from ultra hard to ultra fun. The thing that's a constant is the beauty. The back 9 is like taking a walk through the woods with a meandering stream, and there's a waterfall you'll love. Everything about Miramichi is cool. Go check it out in Woodstock, 12 minutes north of downtown. It's Miramichi.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Attention, everyone. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory. Let me say that again. Family Leisure is needing your help to clear out their inventory. And to do so, there are tons of great deals throughout the store. For example, all do-it-yourself pools are $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools for less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Hey, if you need patio furniture, they have patio furniture that's now up to 30% off. Spas are in stock. They're up to $1,200 off. Now listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. 24 months, same as cash financing, is now available through this sale. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory, so come and do your part at Family Leisure. Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskell. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, what I learned today is we remember last week when James Harden at a charity event overseas got up and called Daryl Morey a liar and that he would never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Well, now the NBA is looking in to that situation and to that comment. Shams Charania reported earlier today, as part of the NBA probe into the liar comment, James Harden told league investigators he was referring to Daryl Morey telling Harden he will trade him, quote, quickly following the $35.6 million opt-in for the 2023-24 season, per sources. The 76ers stance now is they expect to keep Harden. So a lot of people are wondering, well, where did those comments come from? Why is Daryl Morey a liar? And it's because it seems like there was agreement between those two. We know how close those two have been ever since James Harden has gotten into the league. It seems like there was some sort of agreement, at least in James Harden's opinion, that you sign this opt-in, we get you on the books, and then we'll trade you preferably to the Los Angeles Clippers. That hasn't happened, and James Harden not happy about it.
This guy, please, Daryl Morey, what a quack. That's my top story of the day. Not my top story. That's what I learned today as well, is that it seems like there's more information coming out about this, about all of the comments from James Harden. He's talking to the NBA, and he's telling them point blank what he means by it, and I guess it's kind of become a he said, she said, unless it was something felonious. I don't imagine the NBA is going to do anything about him not trading someone as promptly as he promised, because there seems to be some general ambiguity in how fast is fast. I mean, you're not going to settle for a bad deal just because you said you would trade someone fast.
Right.
So I generally side with James Harden, but it seems like there's nothing a whole lot the league can do here. Maybe it's just to give the public clarity on what's going on.
Yeah. What I could have done without is just continuing to learn more and more, just hearing about this Wander Franco situation where multiple, I think one girl has gone to the police about him and underage girls. I know there was another one that a lot of people were talking about that was making claims on social media. There's been multiple girls now that have made claims against Wander Franco and him being with underage girls. According to Hector Gomez, a decision could come down at some point today. This was early this morning, so maybe it doesn't come down today. Maybe it comes down tomorrow. Major League Baseball will make a decision about whether to place Franco on administrative leave while investigating the allegations against him. He kind of gave the options. They could put him on administrative leave. They could extend his restricted list stay, or they could just put him back on the active roster. So we could hear some sort of update today or tomorrow in terms of Wander Franco. Also saw that he has now hired a top high-profile attorney, Jay Reisinger, who I guess has worked with a lot of Major League Baseball players that have kind of gotten themselves into controversy. So he's hired an attorney now, and like I said, we might be getting an update in the next couple of days.
You know what I could have done without Bryant?
What's that?
That clown Pete Alonso throwing the ball. I know that happened this weekend, but I'm not over it.
Do you know?
Anyway, back to you.
Know when you might be over it?
I don't. I'll tell you when, though.
Okay, thank you. Where are you being tonight?
Beam me to watch Ryan Weathers, Mr. Bullpen Day for the Marlins, throwing tonight. He's 1-7 on the year. They play tonight against the Padres in San Diego, Slam Diego. So that's one I'll be watching.
I like it. I'm gonna beam to Washington for Ravens Commanders tonight on ESPN. Some Monday Night Football. We'll see. Dress rehearsal for ESPN. We'll see if the Ravens can extend their preseason win streak to 26 games. That game kicks off at 7 p.m. And so it should be a good one, at least for maybe the first half or so, and then you'll get the third and fourth strings in, and it probably won't be extremely entertaining anymore. But a limited slate of baseball games tonight. Cardinals in action coming up in just a couple of minutes against the Pirates. Later tonight, I think a really good game, Red Sox and Astros. The Red Sox only a couple games back of that wild card spot. The Astros kind of sliding a little bit after being swept by the Mariners over the weekend, so that should be an insanely fun series to watch through the next couple of days. But that's all the time we have this afternoon. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.